In the heart of the ancient Near East, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers embrace the land, lies a story long forgotten. A story of a kingdom that once flourished, its influence rippling through the pages of history. This kingdom is known as Mitanni, a civilization that thrived during the second millennium BCE, and whose legacy, though shrouded in obscurity, holds the echoes of a vibrant past. Imagine, if you will, a time when the world was still young, and the landscapes of Mesopotamia were dotted with city-states, each vying for power, wealth, and glory. Among these was Mitanni, a kingdom situated in what is now northern Syria and southeastern Turkey. Its people, the Hurrians, were not only skilled horsemen, but also adept diplomats, weaving intricate alliances and playing pivotal roles in the politics of their time. To understand Mitanni, we must first travel back to the roots of the Hurrian people. Emerging around the 3rd millennium BCE, the Hurrians were a diverse group, speaking a language distinct from their Semitic neighbors. They settled in the mountainous regions, where the fertile valleys cradled their agriculture and the hills nurtured their herds. It was here, amidst the sun-kissed hills and flowing rivers, that the seeds of a great kingdom would take root. As the Hurrians began to assert their identity, a transformation was underway. By the 15th century BCE, Mitanni had emerged as a formidable power. It was during this time that the kingdom flourished under the reign of a series of kings whose names resonate in the annals of history, like Tushratta, who would later become a pivotal figure in the kingdom's interactions with its neighbors. Tushratta was not merely a ruler, he was a visionary. He sought to expand Mitanni's influence beyond its borders, engaging in diplomacy with the great kingdoms of Egypt and the Hittites. In a world characterized by shifting allegiances and constant warfare, Tushratta understood the delicate balance of power. He forged alliances through marriage, sending his daughters to Egypt in the hopes of securing peace and mutual respect. As the sun cast its golden hue over the land, the heart of Mitanni pulsed with the energy of trade and cultural exchange. Cities like Washukani, the capital, buzzed with activity. Merchants from distant lands brought goods that sparkled like stars, fine textiles, precious metals, and exotic spices. The streets were alive with the sounds of laughter and conversation as people from diverse backgrounds mingled, sharing stories and traditions. Yet, Mitanni was not solely defined by its political maneuvers and economic prowess. The kingdom was a melting pot of cultures, and its rich tapestry was woven with the threads of art, religion, and innovation. The Hurrians revered a pantheon of deities, each one embodying the forces of nature, gods of the sky, the earth, and the harvest. Temples adorned with intricate carvings and vibrant frescoes became sacred spaces where the divine met the mortal. In the realm of horses, Mitanni was unmatched. The kingdom was renowned for its equestrian skills, producing some of the finest horses in the ancient world. The Mitanni horsemen, clad in vibrant armor, galloped across the plains, their steeds a symbol of power and prestige. The art of chariotry flourished here, with the kingdom developing techniques that would later influence warfare across the region. The famous horse breed, the Mitanni horse, became a prized possession, sought after by kings and warriors alike. But as the sun rises, it must also set. The glory of Mitanni, like the fading light of dusk, faced challenges that would test its very foundations. The kingdom found itself wedged between two titans, Egypt to the south and the Hittites to the north. These rival powers eyed Mitanni with a mixture of envy and ambition, each seeking to expand their dominion at the expense of the other. The shifting tides of power brought about a series of conflicts that would alter the course of Mitanni's history. As the Hittites sought to encroach upon Mitanni territory, the kingdom found itself embroiled in a fierce struggle for survival. Tushratta's diplomacy was put to the test as he navigated the treacherous waters of war and alliance, seeking to preserve the kingdom's autonomy. Yet, amid the chaos, the resilience of the Mitanni people shone bright. They fought valiantly to defend their land, their culture, and their way of life. The echoes of their battles reverberated through the valleys, a testament to their unwavering spirit. The Hurrians, with their rich heritage and deep-rooted traditions, refused to be overshadowed by the ambitions of their neighbors. However, the relentless march of time is unforgiving. As the 14th century BCE unfolded, a series of calamities struck. A combination of internal strife, external pressures, and shifting alliances began to unravel the fabric of Mitanni society. The once mighty kingdom, once a hub of innovation and culture, found itself struggling to maintain its identity amid the chaos. The Hittites, recognizing the vulnerability of Mitanni, capitalized on the situation. They launched a series of military campaigns, inching closer to the heart of the kingdom. The fall of Washukani was a pivotal moment, marking the decline of the Mitanni civilization. The once bustling capital, now a shadow of its former glory, echoed with the memories of a vibrant past. As the kingdom crumbled, the stories of the Mitanni faded into the annals of history, overshadowed by the rise of their conquerors. The Hurrians, who had once thrived in the fertile valleys, became fragmented, their culture subsumed by the Hittites and other neighboring powers. The legacy of Mitanni, once a beacon of civilization, dimmed, leaving behind only whispers of its greatness. Yet, like the phoenix rising from the ashes, the spirit of the Mitanni people endures. Though their kingdom may have fallen, their contributions to the tapestry of human history remain. The art, the equestrian skills, and the diplomatic strategies they pioneered would influence generations to come. The echoes of their past can still be felt in the stories shared by those who remember, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, the legacy of a people can endure. So, as we stand on the precipice of history, gazing into the depths of time, let us not forget the kingdom of Mitanni. Let us remember the Hurrians who once roamed the hills and valleys, their laughter mingling with the winds of the ancient Near East. In their story lies a lesson, a reminder of the enduring power of culture, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of humanity. The Mitanni may be a forgotten kingdom, but their legacy is woven into the very fabric of our shared history, waiting to be rediscovered and celebrated once more. In the shadows of ancient history, where the sands of time obscure the lines between myth and reality, lies a tale of emergence, power, and intrigue. The birth of a kingdom known as Mitanni. To uncover its origins is to embark on a journey through the wind-swept plains of the Near East, where the echoes of empires rise and fall like the tides of a forgotten sea. Imagine, if you will, the landscape of the ancient Near East around the 15th century BCE. A vibrant tapestry of cultures flourished here, woven together by trade routes and the relentless march of ambition. The heart of this land beat strongest in the Fertile Crescent, a cradle of civilization where the rivers Tigris and Euphrates cradle the earth, providing life to those who dared to cultivate its bounty. Yet, within this flourishing tableau, a new contender was stirring, a kingdom that would rise to power and influence, transforming the fabric of the region. This was Mitanni. But what exactly was Mitanni? To understand its birth, we must first delve into the complex tapestry of its predecessors. The land that would become Mitanni was once dominated by the Hurrians, a people whose history is as rich as the alluvial soil they farmed. They were skilled horsemen and charioteers, renowned for their expertise in equestrian warfare. It was in this milieu that the seeds of Mitanni were sown, watered by the dreams and aspirations of its people. As we wander through time, we find ourselves amidst the bustling trade routes that connected the great civilizations of the Hittites to the west and the Egyptians to the south. The allure of wealth and power drew many to these crossroads, including the ambitious Hurrians. The emergence of Mitanni was not the result of a singular event, but rather the culmination of myriad influences, alliances, and conflicts that shaped its destiny. In the early days of Mitanni, we encounter a character who would become essential to its legend, a charioteer named Tushratta. His story begins in the humble beginnings of the Hurrian tribes, where a deep connection to horses and the art of warfare forged the foundations of a burgeoning kingdom. Tushratta was not just a warrior, he was a visionary, dreaming of uniting the tribes under a single banner. He understood that the strength of a kingdom lay not only in its warriors, but also in its relationships with neighboring powers. As Tushratta rallied the tribes, he forged alliances through marriage and diplomacy, a strategy that would become the hallmark of Mitanni's rise. His marriage to a princess of the powerful Hittite kingdom signaled the beginning of a new era. It was a union that would intertwine the fates of two great powers, creating a bridge between cultures and solidifying Mitanni's position in the geopolitical landscape of the time. Through this lens, we begin to see Mitanni not merely as a geographical entity, but as a cultural melting pot. The Hurrian language and customs intermingled with those of the Hittites and the Egyptians, giving birth to a unique identity. This cultural amalgamation would lay the groundwork for Mitanni's most enduring legacy, the art of chariot warfare. The kingdom became known for its formidable cavalry, which would dominate the battlefields of the ancient Near East, striking fear into the hearts of its enemies. As we trace the rise of Mitanni, we cannot overlook the pivotal role of the powerful kings that followed Tushratta. Under their rule, Mitanni expanded its territory, reaching the heights of its influence during the reign of King Artatama. His reign was marked by a series of military campaigns that pushed the boundaries of the kingdom, stretching from the Euphrates to the Mediterranean. The art of war was refined, and the chariot became a symbol of Mitanni's might. Yet, as the kingdom flourished, so too did the seeds of discord. The allure of power often invites envy, and Mitanni was no exception. The Hittites, once allies, began to see Mitanni as a rival. Tensions simmered beneath the surface, and whispers of betrayal filled the air. As we peer into the corridors of power, we can almost hear the subtle machinations of courtly intrigue where alliances shifted like the sands of the desert. The story of Mitanni takes a dramatic turn with the rise of the Egyptian pharaohs. As the powerful rulers of Egypt sought to expand their influence, they cast their gaze toward Mitanni. The relationship between these two kingdoms oscillated between cooperation and conflict, each maneuvering to outwit the other. The famous diplomatic letters exchanged between the kings provide a glimpse into the high-stakes game of power politics that defined this era. But it was not just warfare that shaped Mitanni, it was also a flourishing of culture and religion. The worship of gods played a significant role in the lives of the Mitannian people. They revered a pantheon of deities, each representing different aspects of life and nature. The intersection of religion and politics created a unique dynamic where kings were seen as divinely appointed rulers, blessed by the gods to lead their people. As we journey deeper into the heart of Mitanni, we uncover the rich artistic expressions that flourished during this period. The craftsmanship of artisans reflected the influence of neighboring cultures, resulting in a vibrant tapestry of art and architecture. Intricate pottery, beautiful jewelry, and elaborate frescoes adorned the palaces and temples, serving as a testament to the wealth and sophistication of this remarkable kingdom. Yet as the sun rose on the zenith of Mitanni's power, dark clouds gathered on the horizon. The winds of change were blowing, and the kingdom faced formidable challenges. External threats loomed large as the Assyrians and Hittites sought to reclaim their former dominance. The delicate balance of power began to unravel, and the very foundations of Mitanni were put to the test. In the midst of this turmoil, we find ourselves reflecting on the legacy of Mitanni, a kingdom that rose from the shadows, forged through ambition, diplomacy, and the indomitable spirit of its people. The birth of Mitanni was not merely a moment in time. It was a convergence of cultures, a testament to the resilience of humanity in the face of adversity. As we draw our narrative to a close, we are left with a sense of awe at the rich tapestry of history that is Mitanni. Its legacy continues to resonate, whispering through the ages, reminding us of the power of unity, the complexity of alliances, and the enduring quest for greatness. In the annals of ancient history, the story of Mitanni stands as a beacon, illuminating the paths of those who dared to dream of a kingdom born from the ashes of conflict, a power that once ruled the ancient world, now etched forever in the sands of time. In the heart of a world steeped in myth and legend lies the enchanting kingdom of Hanigalbat, a land where the whispers of ancient tales dance upon the winds and the very soil seems to pulse with stories waiting to be told. Nestled between the majestic mountains and sprawling rivers, Hanigalbat is not merely a kingdom, it is a tapestry woven from nature's finest threads, a realm where the geography shapes its people, culture, and destiny. As the sun rises over the verdant hills, casting golden rays upon the emerald valleys, we are drawn into the landscape that cradles Hanigalbat. The kingdom stretches across a diverse terrain that is as varied as the stories of its inhabitants. To the north, the formidable peaks of the Zindar Mountains rise like ancient sentinels, their snow-capped summits piercing the azure sky. These mountains are not mere barriers. They are the lifeblood of the kingdom. Their slopes rich with minerals and hidden treasures, their streams feeding the rivers that sustain life below. The Zindar Range is a realm of contrasts, where the biting cold of winter yields to the vibrant blooms of spring. Here, legends tell of brave warriors who ventured into the mountains to seek wisdom from the ancient spirits that dwell within the rocky crags. It is said that those who listen closely can hear the echoes of their footsteps, guiding the lost and the weary back home. The people of Hanigalbat revere these mountains, not just for their beauty, but for the profound connection they share with the land and the stories that have been passed down through generations. As we journey southward, the mountains gradually give way to lush valleys and sprawling plains, where the fertile earth yields bountiful harvests. The river Karun meanders through this landscape, its crystal-clear waters glistening under the sun, as if inviting the weary traveller to pause and reflect. The river is the lifeblood of Hanigalbat, a symbol of prosperity and abundance. Its banks are lined with orchards and fields, where farmers toil with love and dedication, nurturing the land that has nourished their ancestors for centuries. In the heart of these vast plains, the town of Eldrin thrives, a bustling hub of trade and culture. Here, the sounds of laughter and music fill the air, mingling with the scent of freshly baked bread and fragrant spices. The marketplace is a vibrant tapestry of colors and aromas, where merchants from all corners of the kingdom gather to share their wares. It is a place where stories are exchanged as freely as goods, where the spirit of community is palpable, and where the geography of Hanigalbat comes alive through the lives of its people. As we venture further south, the land transforms once more, revealing the captivating beauty of the verdant forests. These ancient woodlands, teeming with life, are home to countless species of flora and fauna, each playing a vital role in the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Towering trees reach for the heavens, their branches entwined like the fingers of old friends, creating a canopy that filters the sunlight into a kaleidoscope of greens and golds. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and wildflowers, inviting explorers to wander deeper into the embrace of nature. The verdant forests are not only a sanctuary for wildlife, they are also a source of inspiration for the people of Hanigalbat. It is here that the art of storytelling thrives, as bards and poets find solace beneath the ancient oaks, weaving tales of love, loss, and adventure. The forest is a living narrative, each rustle of leaves and chirp of birds adding to the chorus of history that resonates within its depths. The inhabitants of Hanigalbat believe that the spirits of their ancestors roam these woods, guiding and protecting them through the trials of life. As we travel westward, the geography of Hanigalbat takes yet another turn, leading us to the shimmering shores of the Celestial Sea. The coastline is a breathtaking spectacle where golden sands meet the azure waves in a dance as old as time. The sea is both a giver and a taker, its tides shaping the lives of those who dwell along its shores. Fishermen cast their nets into the depths, while traders navigate the waters, forging connections with distant lands and cultures. The sea is a realm of mystery, its depths holding secrets that tantalize the imagination and invite exploration. The coastal towns of Hanigalbat are alive with the spirit of adventure. The salty breeze carries the laughter of children playing along the shore, their dreams as boundless as the horizon. Here, the stories of the sea come alive, tales of legendary sea serpents and heroic sailors who braved the tempestuous waters to protect their homeland. The Celestial Sea is woven into the very fabric of Hanigalbat's identity, a reminder that the kingdom is not an isolated entity but part of a larger world, one where the land and sea converge in a symphony of life. Yet, the geography of Hanigalbat is not merely a backdrop for its stories. It is an integral character that shapes the destiny of its people. The challenges posed by the rugged mountains, the fertile plains, the enchanting forests, and the vast sea have forged a resilient spirit among the inhabitants. They are people who understand the cycles of nature, who respect the land that sustains them, and who find strength in unity amidst diversity. As the sun sets over Hanigalbat, casting a warm glow across the kingdom, we are reminded that geography is more than just a map of mountains, rivers, and forests. It is a living entity, a force that shapes the narratives of those who call it home. The land of Hanigalbat is a canvas painted with the broad strokes of history and the intricate details of everyday life. It is a place where the past and present intertwine, where every rock, every tree, and every wave tells a story of resilience, hope, and the enduring spirit of a kingdom that has weathered the storms of time. In the realm of Hanigalbat, the geography is a reflection of the heart and soul of its people. It is a testament to their journey, an invitation to explore the depths of their culture, and a reminder that in every corner of this enchanting land, there are stories waiting to be discovered. As we leave the shores of Hanigalbat behind, we carry with us the echoes of its landscapes and the whispers of its tales, forever intertwined with the magic of this extraordinary kingdom. In the vast, undulating expanses of the steppe, where the horizon stretches infinitely and the sky dances with hues of gold and azure, an ancient bond was forged between man and beast. This is not simply a story of survival. It is a tale of transformation, of how a humble creature, the horse, became the very essence of power and warfare, forever changing the course of history. Imagine a world where the rolling plains were not just a backdrop for human existence, but a living, breathing entity that shaped destinies. Here, in the heart of Central Asia, the nomadic tribes roamed freely, living in harmony with nature. Among them was a remarkable creature, the horse. Strong, swift, and graceful, these animals became more than just companions. They were the lifeblood of the steppe, vital for transportation, herding, and eventually warfare. The relationship between humans and horses began thousands of years ago. Picture early tribes, their lives entwined with the rhythms of the land, observing the wild horses galloping across the plains. As they watched, they began to understand the strength and stamina of these magnificent beings. With patience and ingenuity, they embarked on a journey of domestication that would change everything. The horse became an ally, a partner in the relentless struggle for survival against the harsh elements and rival tribes. In this world, the horse was not merely a means of transport. It was a symbol of status, a critical asset in the intricate dance of tribal politics. Wealth was measured in horses, and the most skilled horseman commanded respect and admiration. The tribes learned to ride, to master the art of horsemanship. With each gallop across the steppe, they forged a connection deeper than mere utility. They became one with their steeds, experiencing the thrill of freedom as they raced across the vast landscape, the wind whipping through their hair, their hearts beating in time with the powerful rhythm of hooves pounding against the earth. As the tribes grew in number and ambition, so too did their aspirations. The horse became the cornerstone of military strategy. The nomadic warriors learned to fight from horseback, transforming the very nature of warfare. With speed and agility, they could launch surprise attacks, outmaneuvering their enemies with a grace that had never been seen before. In this new era of warfare, the horse was not just a tool. It was a weapon, a formidable force that could turn the tide of battle. The steppes became a crucible of conflict, where tribes clashed in epic battles for dominance. The Mongols, under the legendary leadership of Genghis Khan, would rise to prominence and redefine the art of war. Picture the vast Mongol horde, a sea of horsemen sweeping across the landscape, their banners fluttering in the wind. The Mongols understood the horse in ways that were unparalleled. They bred and trained their mounts for speed and endurance, creating a cavalry that was unmatched on the battlefield. In this relentless pursuit of conquest, the horse became a symbol of the Mongol Empire's might. With their horses, they could cover vast distances in record time, allowing for rapid communication and strategic mobility. The Mongols employed innovative tactics, utilizing their horses to launch feigned retreats, luring enemies into traps and striking with precision. The very landscape of warfare was forever altered as the horse became the embodiment of speed, power, and agility. But the influence of the horse extended far beyond the steppes. The technology of horseback riding spread like wildfire, igniting a revolution in warfare across continents. As tribes and kingdoms learned from the Mongols, the horse became a vital element in the military arsenals of empires, from Europe to the Middle East. The mounted knight emerged as a formidable force clad in armor and wielding weapons with devastating effect. The age of chivalry was born, and with it, a new cultural narrative centered around the horse as a noble companion in both battle and leisure. Yet, amidst the glory and power, there was also a profound connection to the land and heritage. The horse was more than a creature of war. It was a part of the identity of the people. Rituals and traditions emerged, celebrating the bond between horse and rider. In many cultures, the horse was revered, seen as a bridge between the earthly and the divine. Festivals were held to honor these magnificent beasts, where the community would come together to showcase their horse riding skills, share stories, and pass down knowledge through generations. As time marched forward, the horse continued to evolve alongside humanity. With the advent of gunpowder and mechanized warfare, the role of the horse in battle diminished. Yet, its legacy endured. The spirit of the horse remained woven into the fabric of societies, symbolizing freedom, strength, and resilience. The steppe, once dominated by the sounds of galloping hooves and the cries of warriors, transformed, but the echoes of its past resounded through history. In modern times, the horse still holds a revered place in our hearts and minds. Equestrian sports, rodeos, and cultural festivals celebrate the enduring bond between humans and horses. The lessons of partnership, trust, and respect that were cultivated on the steppe continue to resonate. The horse, once a gift that changed the course of war, has become a symbol of unity and harmony, connecting people across cultures and generations. As we reflect on this extraordinary journey, we realize that the horse is more than just an animal. It is a testament to the ingenuity of humanity, a creature that has shaped our history and continues to inspire us. From the wild steppes of Central Asia to the modern world, the horse remains a gift, a living embodiment of our connection to the land, to each other, and to the spirit of adventure that drives us forward. So, as we stand on the brink of the future, let us remember the lessons of the past. The horse, a humble creature, has taught us about resilience, partnership, and the transformative power of companionship. In a world that often moves too fast, may we take a moment to honor this remarkable gift, to celebrate the bond that has changed the course of history, and to cherish the spirit of the horse that gallops through our hearts, urging us to explore the horizons yet to come. In the cradle of ancient civilizations, where the sun-kissed valleys of Mesopotamia met the rugged mountains of the Zagros, a remarkable chapter of history was being written, a chapter that would see the rise of a powerful empire known as Mitanni. This was a time when the world was defined not just by its kingdoms and dynasties, but also by the very chariots that thundered across the fields of battle. Today, we embark on a journey through the chariot revolution, exploring how the Mitanni became the masters of the field, their influence rippling through the ages like the tides of a great river. Picture the scene. The year is around 1500 BCE. The air is thick with the scent of earth after a rain, and the distant rumble of thunder is echoed by the beating of hooves. In the heart of this tumultuous landscape, the Mitanni emerge, a people who would harness the power of the chariot to transform warfare, politics, and trade. They are not merely warriors. They are innovators, skilled horsemen, and master tacticians. As they rise, they redefine the very nature of power in the ancient Near East. The Mitanni, originally a Hurrian-speaking group, settled in the region that today comprises parts of northern Iraq and Syria. Their territory was a strategic corridor, a nexus of trade and culture that linked the great empires of the time, the Egyptians to the west and the Hittites to the north. However, it was not just their location that would elevate them, it was their revolutionary approach to warfare. At the heart of this transformation was the chariot, a marvel of engineering that combined speed, agility, and firepower. Imagine a battlefield where the clattering of hooves and the creaking of wooden axles create a symphony of tension and anticipation. The chariot, with its 2 horses galloping at full speed, became the ultimate weapon of choice. It was not just a means of transportation, it was a platform for archers, a mobile fortress that could strike swiftly and retreat just as quickly. The Mitanni charioteers, trained from a young age, maneuvered their vehicles with an elegance that turned the chaos of battle into a dance of death. As we delve deeper into the world of the Mitanni, we uncover the stories of their legendary leaders. Among them stands the name of Tushratta, perhaps the most famous king of the Mitanni dynasty. Under his reign, the empire reached its zenith, stretching from the banks of the Euphrates to the frontiers of Anatolia. Tushratta was not only a formidable warrior, but also a shrewd diplomat, forging alliances with neighboring powers through marriage and mutual respect. His reign marked a golden age as the Mitanni became not only skilled in warfare but also adept in the arts and culture. Yet, The true brilliance of the Mitanni lay in their ability to integrate social structures with military prowess. The chariot revolution was not merely about the machines of war, it was a way of life. The elite class of Mitanni society, known as the charioteers, held significant status. They were the knights of their age, celebrated in songs and epics, revered for their bravery and skill. The charioteers trained rigorously, honing their abilities in the vast plains and rugged terrains, preparing for the moment when they would ride into battle, their hearts pounding in sync with the rhythm of their steeds. But the Mitanni were not alone in their pursuit of dominance. They faced formidable adversaries, most notably the formidable Hittites and the ambitious Egyptians. The clash of these powers would echo through the centuries, a testament to the high stakes of this age. In a world where the clattering of chariots could decide the fate of nations, every skirmish, every treaty, and every betrayal became part of a larger narrative, a narrative that would shape the course of history. As the Mitanni expanded their influence, they brought with them a tapestry of cultural exchange. The chariot revolution paved the way for the diffusion of ideas, technologies, and practices across borders. The craftsmanship of chariot construction spread like wildfire, and soon the art of charioteering was adopted by neighboring cultures, all eager to harness the power of this innovative warfare. The Mitanni chariots were not just vehicles. They were symbols of authority and progress, a reflection of a society that understood the delicate balance between war and peace. However, as the saying goes, pride comes before a fall. The very prowess that had elevated the Mitanni to greatness also sowed the seeds of their decline. Their military successes bred ambition, leading to overreach and conflict with their neighbors. The Hittites, recognizing the threat posed by this powerful empire, united under a common cause, and soon the tables turned. The battles that ensued were fierce and relentless. The thunder of chariot wheels became a haunting echo on the plains as the Mitanni faced the consequences of their ambition. The once mighty empire began to fracture under the weight of external pressures and internal strife. The very chariots that had once brought them glory now raced toward an uncertain future. As we trace the downfall of the Mitanni, we find ourselves reflecting on the fragile nature of power. The chariot revolution had changed the rules of engagement, but it also highlighted the transient nature of empires. The legacy of Mitanni, however, would not fade into obscurity. Their innovations in chariotry influenced future generations, leaving an indelible mark on the art of warfare. Even as the Mitanni waned, their impact resonated throughout the ancient world. The ethos of the charioteer, the image of the gallant warrior charging into battle, inspired countless cultures. The echoes of their triumphs and their tribulations would endure in the annals of history, a powerful reminder of the rise and fall of civilizations. In the end, the story of the Mitanni is not merely one of conquest and defeat. It is a testament to human ingenuity, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. The chariot revolution was more than a technological advancement. It was a catalyst for change that redefined the ancient Near East. As we stand on the precipice of history, gazing back at the chariots that once raced across the fields, we are reminded of the stories they carried, the tales of warriors, kings, and a civilization that dared to dream big. So, as we conclude our journey through the chariot revolution and the legacy of the Mitanni, let us remember that history is not just a series of events. It is a tapestry woven from the threads of human experience, where every battle fought, every alliance forged, and every empire risen and fallen contributes to the rich narrative of our shared past. The Mitanni may no longer reign supreme, but their story, like the sound of chariot wheels, continues to echo through the ages, inviting us to explore the depths of our own humanity and the legacies we leave behind. In the tapestry of human history, woven with the threads of culture, language, and belief, there exists a chapter that stands out for its profound implications and far-reaching connections. This is the tale of the Indo-Aryan connection, a journey through time, space, and the divine, exploring the gods we worship and the languages we speak. Imagine a world several millennia ago where the sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows across vast plains and rugged mountains. Here, in the heart of ancient India, a group of people known as the Aryans began to carve out their existence. Their arrival marked a significant turning point, not just in their own lives, but in the very fabric of Indian civilization. With them came a language that would evolve into Sanskrit, a tongue rich with nuance and meaning, and with it, a pantheon of gods that would shape the spiritual landscape for generations to come. The story of the Indo-Aryans is not merely one of migration, it is a tale of transformation and synthesis. As they settled in the fertile plains of the Indus Valley, they brought with them their beliefs, their traditions, and their language. The Vedas, ancient texts that would lay the foundation for Hindu philosophy, emerged from this confluence of ideas. These sacred scriptures are more than just historical documents. They are the hymns of a people searching for understanding, for connection with the divine, and for answers to the profound questions of existence. In the Vedic hymns, we find a vibrant tapestry of gods, each embodying different aspects of nature and human experience. Indra, the king of the gods, is a warrior deity, invoking the might of storms and the power of the heavens. Agni, the fire god, stands as a bridge between the human realm and the divine, guiding offerings to the celestial beings. These deities were not distant figures. They were intimately woven into the daily lives of the people, inspiring rituals and shaping societal norms. As we delve deeper into this journey, we find ourselves in the midst of a rich linguistic heritage. The term Indo-Aryan itself is a linguistic marker, signifying a branch of the larger Indo-European family. This connection is not merely academic, it is a vibrant link that binds cultures and peoples across continents. From the sands of the Arabian Peninsula to the lush landscapes of Europe, languages evolved, diverged, and yet retained echoes of their common ancestry. The very words we use today, mother, father, night, are but reflections of this ancient lineage, whispering tales of our shared human experience. Language, in this context, becomes more than a tool for communication. It is a vessel for culture, history, and identity. The Indo-Aryan languages, with Sanskrit at their core, fostered an environment where philosophical thought flourished. The concepts of dharma, duty, karma, action, and moksha, liberation, emerged, guiding individuals on their spiritual journeys and shaping societal structures. In this way, the sacred and the secular intertwined, creating a holistic worldview that resonated deeply with the people. As centuries passed, the Indo-Aryan connection continued to evolve, absorbing influences from various cultures. The arrival of Buddhism and Jainism introduced new philosophical ideas and practices, challenging the established norms. Yet, even amidst this transformation, the core of the Vedic tradition remained intact, adapting and integrating new beliefs without losing its essence. This resilience is a testament to the power of the Indo-Aryan connection, a thread that has endured through time, binding diverse cultures and beliefs. In the backdrop of this spiritual and linguistic evolution, we must also acknowledge the landscapes that shaped these narratives. The geography of India, with its sweeping mountains, fertile river valleys, and expansive plateaus, played a crucial role in the development of civilization. The Ganges, revered as a sacred river, became a lifeline for communities, fostering agriculture and trade. It is along these banks that stories were exchanged, where philosophies were debated and where the arts flourished. Art, too, has its roots in this Indo-Aryan connection. The majestic sculptures and intricate carvings found in ancient temples are not merely aesthetic expressions. They are embodiments of divine narratives, illustrating the interplay between gods and mortals. The stories of Rama and Sita, Krishna and Radha, resonate through the ages, capturing the complexities of love, duty, and righteousness. These tales, steeped in mythology, are alive within the cultural consciousness, reminding us of our shared humanity and the values that unite us. As we journey through this rich history, we encounter the emergence of regional languages, Prakrits, Apabhramsha, and countless dialects, each a unique reflection of local culture and identity. The Indo-Aryan connection is not a monolithic narrative. It is a mosaic, vibrant and diverse, where each piece contributes to the whole. These languages carried the essence of the people, their aspirations, their struggles, and their joys, further enriching the tapestry of Indian civilization. In the modern world, the legacy of the Indo-Aryan connection remains palpable. As we navigate our daily lives, we find traces of this ancient heritage in the words we speak, the festivals we celebrate, and the values we uphold. The reverberations of this connection echo in the teachings of yoga, the rituals of puja, and the enduring popularity of epics, like the Mahabharata and Ramayana. It reminds us that we are part of a continuum, a lineage that stretches back to the dawn of civilization. Yet, as we stand at this intersection of history and modernity, we are called to reflect on the responsibilities that come with this legacy. The Indo-Aryan connection is not just a story to be told, it is a living testament to the power of language, culture, and belief in shaping our world. In an age marked by division and discord, it urges us to seek understanding and unity, to celebrate our differences while recognizing our shared humanity. In conclusion, the Indo-Aryan connection is a remarkable journey, a story of gods and language, of culture and identity, of continuity and change. It invites us to explore the depths of our past, to engage with the present, and to envision a future where the threads that bind us are celebrated and cherished. As we navigate this intricate tapestry, may we carry forward the wisdom of our ancestors, embracing the beauty of our shared humanity and the divine spark that resides within us all. In the cradle of civilization, where the sun first kissed the fertile banks of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, a tale of ambition, power, and legacy unfurled. A tale that would shape the destiny of empires. This is the story of Shutana and the rise of his dynasty, a saga that intertwines the fates of kingdoms and leaves an indelible mark on history. Our journey begins in the ancient land of Mitanni, a realm nestled between the great powers of Egypt and Assyria. The year was around 1500 BCE, a time when the landscape was painted with the vibrant hues of culture and conflict. The Mitanni kingdom, though smaller in size compared to its neighbors, was rich in resources and strategically located, making it a coveted jewel in the geopolitical tapestry of the ancient Near East. It was here that a young boy named Shutana grew up, unaware that destiny had grand designs for him. Shutana was born into a world rife with intrigue. His family belonged to the ruling class of Mitanni, a lineage steeped in the tradition of warrior kings. As a child, he witnessed the opulence of the palace, the shimmering gold and silver that adorned the temples, and the fierce loyalty of the warriors who pledged their swords to the crown. Yet, alongside this splendor lay the shadows of rivalry and betrayal. Powerful neighbors eyed Mitanni with envy, and within its borders, factions vied for control, each plotting to seize the throne. From an early age, Shutana displayed a remarkable blend of intelligence and charisma. He was not just a warrior, he was a thinker, a strategist. He absorbed the stories of legendary kings and the art of statecraft, honing his skills as he ventured into the world beyond the palace walls. The young prince roamed the fields and hills, listening to the whispers of the wind, the murmurs of the rivers, and learning the ways of the people. As he came of age, Shutana began to understand the delicate balance of power that governed the region. The kingdom of Egypt, under the reign of the formidable pharaohs, sought to expand its influence northward. Assyria, with its fierce armies, was ever watchful, ready to pounce on the slightest sign of weakness. In this cauldron of ambition, Shutana saw his opportunity, not through brute force, but through cunning alliances and diplomatic finesse. His rise to power was not without challenges. As he navigated the treacherous waters of court politics, he faced opposition from rival factions within Mitanni. Yet, Shutana was undeterred. With each challenge, he grew more resolute. He began to forge alliances with powerful families and influential chieftains, promising them titles and land in exchange for their loyalty. The young prince understood that to rule effectively, he needed not only the might of an army, but also the hearts of his people. As the years passed, Shutana's reputation blossomed. He was not merely a prince, he was a visionary leader who sought to unify the fractured kingdom. He embraced the rich cultural heritage of Mitanni, promoting the arts, literature, and religious practices that had flourished in the region for centuries. Festivals celebrating the gods of the land became grand spectacles, drawing people from far and wide. In doing so, he fostered a sense of identity among his subjects, igniting a spark of nationalism that would prove pivotal in his quest for power. However, the road to the throne was paved with peril. As Shutana solidified his alliances, he also faced the threat of invasion. Reports trickled in of Assyrian war bands plundering border villages, and whispers of Egyptian ambitions sent shivers through the hearts of Mitanni's citizens. The time had come for Shutana to demonstrate his mettle as a warrior. Rallying his forces, he led them to confront the Assyrians, a confrontation that would become a defining moment in his campaign for the throne. The battle was fierce, echoing through the valleys like thunder. Shutana, leading from the front, was a sight to behold, a lion among men. His strategic brilliance shone as he maneuvered his forces with precision, flanking the enemy and striking at their weak points. The clash of swords and the cries of warriors filled the air, but amidst the chaos, Shutana remained focused. Victory belonged to those who could endure, and he was determined to secure his kingdom. As the dust settled, the field bore witness to Shutana's triumph. The Assyrian forces were driven back, and the legend of his prowess spread like wildfire. This victory not only solidified his claim to leadership, but also earned him the respect of his adversaries and allies alike. Shutana emerged not just as a warrior, but as a king in the making. In the aftermath of the battle, Shutana ascended to the throne, a moment that would echo through the annals of history. He took the title of Shutana Thawers, a name that would become synonymous with prosperity and strength. The new king wasted no time in implementing reforms that would elevate Mitanni to new heights. He established trade routes that connected his kingdom to distant lands, fostering economic growth and cultural exchange. The bustling markets of Mitanni became a melting pot of ideas, where merchants and artisans thrived. But Shutana's ambitions did not stop at economic prosperity. He envisioned a kingdom united under the banner of a common identity, where diverse cultures could coexist harmoniously. He encouraged intermarriages between different tribes, fostering alliances that would further strengthen his rule. Under his leadership, Mitanni transformed from a fractured kingdom into a formidable power, one that could stand toe-to-toe with its neighbors. As the years passed, Shutana's dynasty flourished. His reign was marked by peace and stability, a golden age that saw advancements in agriculture, science, and the arts. The people of Mitanni revered their king not just for his military victories, but for his wisdom and compassion. Shutana's court became a center of learning, attracting scholars and philosophers from across the region. The legacy of his rule would influence generations to come. Yet, as with all tales of power, the sands of time would eventually shift. Shutana's dynasty faced challenges from within and without, as rival factions sought to reclaim lost power. The very alliances he forged would be tested in the crucible of ambition. But even in the face of adversity, the spirit of Shutana endured, a testament to the strength of a ruler whose vision transcended the bounds of time. As we reflect on the rise of Shutana and his dynasty, we uncover a narrative rich with lessons about leadership, resilience, and the enduring quest for greatness. It is a story that echoes through the corridors of history, reminding us that the mark of a true leader lies not just in the conquests they achieve, but in the legacy they leave behind. In the end, Shutana's name became synonymous with the golden age of Mitanni, a dynasty that echoed across the ages, a reminder of the power of unity, vision, and the relentless pursuit of a dream. As we close this chapter of history, let us carry forward the spirit of Shutana, a spirit that inspires us to rise, to lead, and to forge our destinies in the ever-unfolding tapestry of time. In the annals of history, there lie stories woven with intrigue, ambition, and power, tales that transcend time and echo through the ages. One such chapter unfolds in the cradle of civilization, where the mighty empires of Egypt and Babylon engaged in a delicate dance of diplomacy. Welcome to Diplomats of Power, Letters to Egypt and Babylon, where we journey back to an era when words wielded as much power as armies, and letters were the lifeline connecting distant realms. Picture the sun setting over the golden sands of ancient Egypt, its rays casting long shadows across the monumental pyramids, symbols of both grandeur and ambition. The Nile, a serpentine lifeblood of the land, flowed steadily, nurturing fertile fields and the dreams of countless generations. It was here, in this land, teeming with life and history, that the first echoes of diplomatic correspondence began to resonate. In this age, diplomacy was not merely an exchange of pleasantries, it was a calculated art form. Rulers understood that the pen could be mightier than the sword, and so they harnessed the power of written words to forge alliances, negotiate peace, and assert dominance. Egypt, with its vast wealth and cultural richness, stood as a beacon of civilization, while Babylon, known for its formidable military and architectural marvels, was a force to be reckoned with. The letters exchanged between these titans of antiquity were not just messages, they were declarations of intent, vessels of influence that could alter the course of history. Imagine the grand palaces of Egypt, where scribes laboriously inscribed messages on papyrus scrolls, their ink glistening in the soft flicker of oil lamps. Each stroke of the reed pen carried the weight of nations. The pharaoh, revered as a god on earth, would often send forth missives to his Babylonian counterparts, crafted with eloquence and precision. These letters were invitations to engage in dialogue, to share knowledge, and at times to negotiate terms of peace. One such letter, written during the reign of Pharaoh Akhenaten, epitomized the art of diplomacy. Akhenaten, known for his radical departure from traditional worship, sought to establish a new religious order centered around the sun god, Aten. Yet, amid these spiritual transformations, he recognized the importance of maintaining stable relations with Babylon. His correspondence reflected not just his power, but also his vulnerability as he reached out to the Babylonian king, asking for support and reaffirming ties between their kingdoms. The words danced across the page, weaving a narrative of mutual respect and shared interests. As we turn our gaze to Babylon, the opulence of its hanging gardens springs to life in our minds, a testament to its innovative spirit and architectural prowess. The Babylonian monarchs were equally adept at the art of correspondence, using letters to project power and assert dominance. King Hammurabi, known for his code of laws, understood that diplomacy was essential to solidifying his legacy. His letters to Egypt were not mere requests. They were carefully constructed proclamations, asserting his authority while extending the olive branch of friendship. The interplay between these two great civilizations was marked by both cooperation and competition. At times, letters served as a means of alliance, binding the two kingdoms together in mutual benefit. Trade flourished, and the exchange of goods and ideas flowed like the waters of the Nile. The renowned trade routes connecting Egypt and Babylon allowed for the transfer of not only materials but also culture. Art, literature and philosophy passed along with the precious cargo. Yet, there were moments of tension as well. The letters that flew back and forth could just as easily carry the weight of threats as they could extend invitations. When Egyptian forces encroached upon Babylonian territory, the letters exchanged took on a more urgent tone. The Babylonian king, faced with the prospect of conflict, penned a missive that was both a warning and a call to arms, an assertion of his kingdom's strength and a plea for recognition. The ink dried, but the words held the promise of war, echoing the age-old truth that diplomacy could be a double-edged sword. As we delve deeper into this historical tapestry, we find that the letters exchanged between these two civilizations were often imbued with symbolism. The choice of words, the style of writing, even the materials used to craft these messages carried meaning. A letter sealed with the royal insignia was a promise, a commitment to uphold the values of the sender. In contrast, a hastily written note could signal desperation or a lack of regard for the recipient. This careful attention to detail underscored the profound significance of diplomacy in the ancient world. The narrative takes a poignant turn as we explore the impact of these letters on the lives of ordinary people. While the kings and queens charted the course of empires through their correspondence, the common folk often bore the brunt of their decisions. Imagine the farmers along the Nile, watching as the tides of politics shifted, feeling the ripple effects of diplomatic maneuvers. The prosperity brought about by alliances could mean the difference between a bountiful harvest and famine. The letters of the powerful, while lofty in their language, had real consequences on the ground. In this intricate web of diplomacy, we cannot overlook the role of the scribes, the silent architects of communication. These unsung heroes were the ones who interpreted the desires of kings and queens, translating their thoughts into eloquent prose. They understood the nuances of language, the delicate balance between flattery and honesty. Their pens held the power to shape narratives, to create legacies that would echo through time. It is through their meticulous work that we have glimpses into the past, allowing us to witness the ebb and flow of power through the lens of written correspondence. As we draw our narrative to a close, we reflect on the enduring legacy of these letters. The diplomatic exchanges between Egypt and Babylon laid the groundwork for future generations, shaping the course of history in ways both profound and subtle. The lessons learned from these ancient diplomats resonate even today, reminding us of the importance of dialogue, understanding, and the power of the written word. In a world where conflicts still arise and alliances are forged, the stories of these ancient letters remind us that diplomacy remains a vital tool in the pursuit of peace. As we traverse the corridors of time, we find that the echoes of Egypt and Babylon continue to teach us, urging us to wield our words wisely, to seek understanding, and to remember that even in the most challenging of times, communication can bridge divides and foster unity. So, the next time you ponder the power of a simple letter, remember the diplomats of power who once wielded words like swords, shaping the destinies of nations and leaving behind a legacy that still inspires us today. In their stories, we find the timeless truth that diplomacy, in all its forms, is an art worth mastering, a bridge worth building. And as we close this chapter, let us carry forward the lessons of the past, forging connections that can transcend time and space, just as those ancient letters once did. In the annals of history, where the fates of empires often hung by a fragile thread, marriage alliances emerged as pivotal instruments of power, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. Today we embark on a journey through time, exploring the intricate web of royal brides who traversed continents and oceans, uniting empires and shaping destinies. This is the story of marriage alliances, royal brides across empires. Imagine, if you will, the grandeur of a royal court. The air is thick with the scent of exotic spices and flowers, the sound of music wafting through opulent halls, and the glitter of jewels adorning the necks and wrists of noble women. Here, in this realm of splendor, the fate of nations is often sealed not on the battlefield, but at the altar. Royal marriages have long been more than just romantic unions. They are strategic alliances. In a world where kingdoms vied for supremacy, a marriage could mean the difference between war and peace. Take, for instance, the union of Isabella of Castile and Ferdinand of Aragon in the late 15th century. Their marriage did not merely unite two powerful Spanish kingdoms. It heralded the birth of modern Spain, paving the way for exploration and the age of discovery. Their reign is marked by Columbus's historic voyage, which opened new frontiers, forever altering the course of history. As we delve deeper into these alliances, we encounter the enigmatic figure of Catherine de' Medici. Born into the powerful Medici family of Italy, Catherine's life was a tapestry woven with intrigue and ambition. When she married Henry II of France, she brought not just her beauty, but also a wealth of cultural influence from the Italian Renaissance. As queen, she became a formidable force, navigating the treacherous waters of French politics. Her marriages of her children to various European nobility were carefully orchestrated moves intended to solidify alliances in a time of religious turmoil. The St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, which marked a bloody chapter in French history, was a stark reminder of how fragile these alliances could be, and how deeply they were intertwined with the lives of women who often had little choice in their fates. Across the continent, in the heart of the Ottoman Empire, we find another captivating story of a royal bride, Roxolana, known as Hurrem Sultan. She began her journey as a captive in the harem of Suleiman the Magnificent, yet she transcended the limitations of her origins. With intelligence, charm, and an indomitable spirit, she captured the heart of the Sultan, eventually becoming his wife. Roxolana's ascent was unprecedented. She broke the norms of her time and wielded unprecedented influence in a male-dominated society. Her story exemplifies how marriage alliances were not solely about political strategy, but could also serve as a platform for women to exercise their agency and power. As we traverse further east, we arrive at the court of the Ming dynasty, where the story of Empress Dowager Cixi unfolds. Born into a humble family, Cixi entered the Forbidden City as a lowly concubine. Through her marriage to the Xianfeng Emperor, she navigated the complexities of court life with shrewdness and cunning. Following the emperor's death, Cixi seized power, becoming one of the most formidable women in Chinese history. Her reign witnessed the tumult of the Opium Wars and the Boxer Rebellion, yet she remained a symbol of resilience in the face of overwhelming change. Cixi's life illustrates the duality of royal marriages. They can be both a source of empowerment and a cage of constraints. Meanwhile, in the icy reaches of Russia, a different tale unfolds, that of Catherine the Great. Born as Sophie Friederike Augusta von Anhalt-Zerbst in Germany, she married the future Emperor Peter III of Russia. What began as a politically motivated marriage soon turned into a remarkable ascent as she became one of the most powerful female rulers in history. Catherine's reign was marked by enlightenment, reform, and cultural patronage. She modernized Russia and expanded its borders. Her relationships with various European leaders, forged through marriage and diplomacy, showcased the intricate dance of power that defined her era. Catherine's life story is a testament to the potential of royal brides to redefine their roles and impact the world around them. But not all alliances were forged in the light of glory and prosperity. The tragic tale of Anne Boleyn serves as a reminder that the road to power is fraught with peril. Married to King Henry VIII of England, Anne's story is one of ambition, romance, and ultimately, betrayal. Her marriage sparked a religious revolution that led to the formation of the Church of England, yet it also culminated in a tragic downfall. Anne's execution marked a dark chapter in English history, illustrating how the whims of power could turn against even the most beloved of queens. As we reflect on these remarkable women, we begin to understand that their stories are not merely isolated accounts of individual lives, but rather threads in the vast tapestry of history. Each royal bride was a pawn, a player, and sometimes a queen in a game much larger than themselves. Their marriages, while often born out of necessity, were also imbued with personal sacrifices, desires, and dreams. The legacy of these royal brides is profound. They not only shaped the political landscapes of their time, but also influenced culture, art, and the very fabric of society. Their stories remind us that history is not merely a collection of dates and events. It is a living narrative, rich with the experiences of those who lived through it. In the grand narrative of human history, the alliances formed through marriage transcended borders, bringing together disparate cultures and forging connections that would shape the world for generations. Royal brides, often relegated to the shadows of their powerful husbands, wielded influence that echoed through time. They became symbols of hope, change, and resilience, proving that even in a world governed by men, women could carve out their own destinies. So, as we conclude our journey through the lives of these extraordinary royal brides, let us carry with us the understanding that their stories are not merely relics of the past. They are reminders of the power of love, ambition, and the indomitable spirit of women who dared to dream, love, and shape the world around them. In their unions, we find the echoes of history, a testament to the enduring strength of marriage alliances that not only built empires but also transformed lives. In the heart of the ancient Near East, where the shimmering sands of the desert meet the lush banks of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, lay a kingdom that thrived on trade and tribute, Mitanni. This was a land where the power of wealth was not just measured in gold and silver, but in the intricate relationships woven through commerce, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. As we journey back in time to the 15th century BCE, we find ourselves in an era when the Mitanni kingdom flourished, its influence stretching across vast territories, from the northern reaches of Mesopotamia to the southern lands of the Levant. It was a time when the clinking of trade goods and the rustle of silks filled the air, a time when the very essence of Mitanni's wealth was built upon the foundation of trade networks that crisscrossed the ancient world. Imagine the bustling marketplaces of Mitanni's capital, Washukani, where merchants from distant lands converged, each one bearing the treasures of their homelands. The aroma of spices wafted through the air, mingling with the rich scent of fine textiles and the metallic tang of precious metals. Here, in these vibrant streets, you could find everything from exquisite lapis lazuli and vibrant dyes to the most delicate of ceramics, all of which spoke to the kingdom's position as a hub of commerce. But what made Mitanni truly unique was not just its wealth in material goods, but the strategic alliances it formed through trade. This was a time when power dynamics shifted like the sands of the desert, and the ability to forge strong connections could be the difference between prosperity and ruin. The rulers of Mitanni understood this well. They cultivated relationships not merely through the exchange of goods, but also through the art of diplomacy, leveraging their trade networks to secure their borders and expand their influence. As we delve deeper into the intricacies of Mitanni's trade practices, we uncover the significance of tribute. Tribute was not just a payment, it was a symbol of loyalty and recognition of power. Neighboring states and vassal kingdoms were often required to send annual tributes to the Mitanni rulers. These tributes came in many forms: precious metals, livestock, grains, and even exquisite craftsmanship. They were a testament to the might of Mitanni and served to reinforce the bonds of allegiance. One such tribute came from the Hittites, a formidable power to the west. The relationship between Mitanni and the Hittites was complex, filled with moments of both rivalry and cooperation. The Hittite king would send lavish gifts of gold and silver, a gesture that not only showcased his wealth, but also signified his recognition of Mitanni's supremacy. In return, Mitanni would offer military support and political alliances, creating a tapestry of mutual benefit that underpinned their interactions. Across the expanse of Mitanni, we find the influence of the Hurrians, the people who had settled in the region long before the rise of the kingdom. The Hurrians brought with them a rich cultural heritage that intertwined with the fabric of Mitanni society. Their artisans crafted intricate pottery and textiles, which became highly sought after in trade markets far and wide. The Hurrian influence also permeated the religious practices of Mitanni, as their gods found a place alongside the deities of the Mitanni pantheon, further enriching the cultural landscape. As we explore the legacy of Mitanni, we cannot overlook the significance of its connection to the great powers of the time. Egypt, with its vast wealth and formidable armies, was an essential player in the geopolitical game. The pharaohs recognized Mitanni's strategic position as a bridge between East and West. Diplomatic marriages were often arranged, linking the royal families of Mitanni and Egypt in a web of alliances that would endure for generations. It was a masterstroke of diplomacy, a move that ensured peace while enhancing trade routes that benefited both kingdoms. In the bustling markets of Mitanni, merchants traded not just goods, but ideas and innovations. The exchange of knowledge was as crucial as the exchange of commodities. The artisans of Mitanni, influenced by the neighboring cultures, began to adopt new techniques in metallurgy, pottery, and textile production. This blending of ideas led to a flourishing of craftsmanship that would become synonymous with the kingdom. The vibrant tapestries and intricate jewelry produced in Mitanni were not only prized possessions, but also symbols of the kingdom's cultural identity. As we stand at the crossroads of history, we witness the rise of Mitanni's power, a testament to the strength of trade and tribute. The wealth generated through these means allowed the kingdom to invest in monumental architecture, fortifications, and the arts. The palaces of Washukani stood as grand symbols of Mitanni's prosperity, adorned with intricate carvings and vibrant frescoes that depicted the deities and the life of the court. Yet, as with all great empires, the tides of fortune would eventually shift. The very trade networks that had bolstered Mitanni's wealth began to draw the attention of emerging powers. The Assyrians to the east, with their fierce military prowess, and the Babylonians to the south, with their vast resources, sought to expand their influence at the expense of Mitanni. The balance of power was delicate, and the once thriving kingdom found itself at a crossroads. As the years passed, the tribute that had once flowed into Mitanni began to dwindle. Vassal states grew restless, their loyalty tested by the changing political landscape. The merchants who had once flocked to Washukani found new routes and new markets, drawn by the allure of less volatile territories. The wealth that had once defined Mitanni began to erode, replaced by the shadows of uncertainty and conflict. Yet, even in its decline, the legacy of Mitanni endured. The cultural exchanges that had taken place, the art, the technology, and the stories of its people continued to resonate through the ages. The relationships forged through trade and tribute left an indelible mark on the civilizations that followed, influencing everything from governance to trade practices in the centuries to come. In the annals of history, Mitanni stands as a poignant reminder of the power of commerce and diplomacy. It teaches us that wealth extends beyond mere numbers and gold. It is about connections, ideas, and the legacy of culture that transcends the bounds of time. As we reflect on the wealth of Mitanni, we not only uncover the riches of the past, but also gain insights into the enduring nature of human relationships, interwoven through trade and tribute, forever shaping the tapestry of history. In the vast tapestry of human civilization, few threads are as vibrant and intricate as those woven by the beliefs and myths of ancient peoples. One such thread, rich in color and texture, comes from a civilization that thrived in the shadows of history: the Mitanni. Nestled in the fertile crescent of the Near East, the Mitanni kingdom flourished between the 15th and the 12th centuries BCE, a time when the world was alive with the sound of chariots and the whispers of gods. Today, we embark on a journey through the pantheon of the Mitanni, exploring their religion and mythology that not only shaped their identity but also left an indelible mark on the cultures that followed. Imagine, if you will, a land straddling the borders of modern-day Syria and Turkey. The Mitanni were known for their skilled horsemen and chariotry, but it was their spirituality that truly defined them. In their minds, the world was an interconnected web of divine forces, where every mountain, river, and star was imbued with significance. The Mitanni were not mere worshippers. They were participants in a grand cosmic drama, where the gods played pivotal roles in the affairs of men. At the heart of the Mitanni belief system was a pantheon of deities, each embodying the elements of nature and aspects of human experience. The most significant of these was the storm god, Teshub, a figure who loomed large over their religious practices. Teshub, often depicted wielding a thunderbolt, was not just a god of storms. He was a warrior, a protector, and a symbol of power that the Mitanni sought to emulate. To them, he was the embodiment of strength and courage, qualities they aspired to in their own lives. But Teshub was not alone in his celestial domain. He was accompanied by a host of other deities, each with their own unique attributes and stories. Among them was the goddess Astarte, associated with love, war, and fertility. Astarte was revered not only for her beauty, but also for her fierce spirit. She was a protector of cities and a champion of the downtrodden. The Mitanni believed that her favor could lead to victory in battle and bountiful harvests, making her worship integral to both their spiritual and everyday lives. As we wander deeper into the Mitanni pantheon, we encounter the sun god, Shmesh, who brought light to the world and illuminated the paths of mortals. He was the source of life, warmth, and growth, and his daily journey across the sky was a powerful symbol of renewal. The Mitanni celebrated his rising and setting as a reminder of the cycles of life, death, and rebirth, a theme that resonated deeply within their culture. Then there was the moon god, Sin, who offered guidance through the night. In a world where the stars were the primary navigational tools, Sin held great significance. He was the keeper of time, marking the months and seasons with his phases. The Mitanni believed that his watchful eye brought clarity in the darkness, providing wisdom and insight during times of uncertainty. Yet, the Mitanni's spiritual landscape was not solely populated by these gods. It was also inhabited by a myriad of spirits and lesser deities. These beings, often linked to specific places or natural phenomena, were believed to influence the daily lives of the Mitanni people. From the protective spirits of the household to the gods of the harvest, they were invoked in rituals designed to secure blessings and avert misfortune. Rituals in the Mitanni culture were not mere ceremonies, but rather the lifeblood of their interaction with the divine. The Mitanni priests, serving as intermediaries between the gods and the people, conducted elaborate rites that included offerings, prayers, and sacrifices. These acts of devotion were believed to secure the favor of the gods, ensuring prosperity and protection for the community. The fragrance of incense wafted through temples, mingling with the sounds of chants and hymns, creating an atmosphere thick with reverence and hope. One of the most striking aspects of Mitanni religion was the blending of their native beliefs with those of neighboring cultures, particularly the Hurrians and Hittites. This syncretism enriched their religious practices and created a complex web of mythological narratives. For instance, while Teshub remained a central figure, he often took on characteristics of the Hittite storm god Tarhan. Such adaptations illustrate the fluidity of belief systems in ancient times, where gods could transcend borders and cultures, evolving in tandem with the peoples who worshipped them. The Mitanni kingdom was a melting pot of cultures, and its religion reflected this diversity. The influence of the Indo-Aryan peoples who settled in the region is evident in certain deities and mythological motifs. The god Indra, associated with thunder and war, found a place among the Mitanni pantheon, showcasing the interconnectedness of ancient religions. This cultural exchange was not merely a matter of conquest or colonization. It was a shared journey of belief, a testament to the universal quest for understanding the divine. As we delve into the stories that shaped Mitanni mythology, we uncover tales of heroism, love, tragedy, and triumph. One such legend revolves around Teshub's battle with the sea dragon, a monstrous creature that threatened to engulf the world in chaos. In a climactic showdown, Teshub, with his thunderbolts, fought valiantly to restore order. This myth not only highlights the valor of the storm god, but also serves as a metaphor for the human struggle against the forces of nature and the unpredictability of life. Another compelling narrative involves the goddess Astarte's descent into the underworld, a journey that echoes the ancient theme of the cycle of life and death. Her quest to reclaim her lost lover from the grasp of darkness symbolizes the eternal struggle for love and the perseverance of the human spirit in the face of despair. These stories, passed down through generations, were not just entertainment. They were moral lessons, guiding the Mitanni people in their daily lives. As the sun set on the Mitanni kingdom, the echoes of their religion and mythology began to fade, but their legacy endured. The fall of the Mitanni in the late 12th century BCE marked the end of an era, yet their influence persisted in the cultures that followed. The gods they worshipped and the myths they cherished became part of a larger narrative woven into the fabric of the ancient Near East. In the grand tapestry of history, the Mitanni may seem like a fleeting shadow, a civilization that flickered briefly before being extinguished. Yet their pantheon remains a testament to the human spirit's quest for meaning, connection, and understanding of the universe. Today, as we reflect on their beliefs and stories, we recognize that they, too, were seekers of truth, much like ourselves, navigating the complexities of existence with hope, reverence, and a touch of mythological magic. And so we close the chapter on the Mitanni, but their legacy continues to whisper through the ages, reminding us that the sacred and the profane, the divine and the mundane, are forever intertwined in the grand narrative of humanity. The pantheon of the Mitanni, with its gods and legends, invites us to explore our own beliefs, to question, to wonder, and ultimately to celebrate the intricate dance of life that binds us all. In the heart of the ancient Near East, where the sun gilds the earth with golden light and the whispers of history linger in the air, lie the ruins of a city that once thrived as a beacon of power and culture. Washukani. Once a capital of the powerful Mitanni Empire, this city was the nexus of trade, diplomacy and military prowess, a place where kings and queens walked the grand avenues, where the clamour of bustling markets filled the air, and where the dreams of a civilization were etched into the very stones of its architecture. Let us journey back in time to an era steeped in intrigue and ambition. The Mitanni Empire, flourishing around the 15th to the 12th centuries BCE, was a formidable force, rising to prominence in a region that witnessed the ebb and flow of various cultures. The empire extended its reach across what is today northern Syria and southeastern Turkey, influencing the surrounding territories with its innovations in chariotry, horse breeding, and diplomacy. At the heart of this empire was Washoukani, believed to be located in the vicinity of modern-day Tel el-Fakar, yet shrouded in mystery and lost to time. As we step into the world of Washoukani, we can almost hear the echoes of its past. The city was strategically positioned near the confluence of trade routes that linked the great powers of the era, the Egyptians, Hittites, and Assyrians. These routes were lifelines for commerce and communication, and Washoukani was a vital hub where merchants exchanged goods, ideas, and cultures. The air was rich with the scent of spices from distant lands, the sound of artisans crafting intricate pottery, and the laughter of children playing in the dusty streets. Washoukani was not merely a city, it was a symbol of Mitanni's strength and sophistication. Imagine grand palaces adorned with exquisite frescoes reflecting the wealth and artistry of its people. The ruling class, composed of a blend of indigenous Hurrian and Indo-Aryan cultures, embraced a lifestyle filled with luxury and power. The kings of Washoukani held sway over vast territories and engaged in strategic marriages with neighboring powers to secure alliances and bolster their influence. But as we all know, the wheel of fortune can turn swiftly. The rise of Washoukani was paralleled by the emergence of other powers in the region. The Hittites, driven by their ambition, began to encroach upon Mitanni territory, testing the limits of their resolve. Diplomatic negotiations filled the halls of power, where kings met in tense parley, seeking to avert war while simultaneously plotting their next move. It was a time of uncertainty where loyalty was as fleeting as the desert wind. As the winds of change swept through the ancient world, the once mighty Mitanni Empire began to wane. Internal strife and external pressures lead to its decline, and the glorious city of Washoukani was eventually abandoned, its streets silenced, its palaces left to crumble. It became a mere whisper in the annals of history, a lost city that would elude discovery for millennia. The search for Washoukani has captivated archaeologists and historians alike. The quest to uncover this lost city is like a treasure hunt, shrouded in riddles and secrets waiting to be unraveled. With each excavation, the past reveals itself in fragments, pottery shards, inscriptions, and remnants of ancient structures. These artifacts tell stories of a civilization that flourished and then faded, leaving behind the echoes of its grandeur. As we turn our attention to the broader narrative of lost cities, we find that Washoukani is not alone in its fate. Across the globe, there are countless cities that have risen and fallen, leaving behind only traces of their existence. Each lost city offers a glimpse into the human experience, a reminder of our shared heritage. Cities like Pompeii, buried beneath volcanic ash, and Atlantis, the fabled city of legend, invite us to ponder the fragility of civilization. The allure of lost cities lies not only in their history, but also in the mystery surrounding their demise. What caused their downfall? Was it war, natural disaster, or perhaps a gradual decline? The answers are often obscured by the sands of time, leaving us to speculate and imagine the lives of those who once inhabited these vibrant places. It is this interplay of history and mystery that draws us closer to the past, beckoning us to explore the complexities of human civilization. Washukani's story is a testament to the transitory nature of power. The rise and fall of empires remind us that greatness can be fleeting, that the once mighty can become mere echoes in the landscape. The city, though lost, still holds lessons for us today. It speaks to the importance of resilience, the need to adapt and evolve in a world that is ever-changing. It highlights the fragility of alliances and the consequences of conflict, urging us to seek understanding and cooperation rather than division. As we piece together the fragments of Washukani's history, we celebrate the achievements of the Mitanni people, their contributions to art, culture, and governance. We honor their legacy, even as we acknowledge their vulnerabilities. The city may have been lost to time, but its spirit endures in the stories we tell, in the artifacts we unearth, and in the lessons we learn. In our exploration of lost cities, we also encounter a profound sense of wonder. Each site we uncover is a portal to a different world, an invitation to walk in the footsteps of those who came before us. The thrill of discovery ignites our imagination, reminding us that history is not merely a collection of dates and events, but a vibrant tapestry woven from the experiences of countless lives. As we conclude our journey through Washukani and the realm of lost cities, we are left with a sense of connection, a bond that transcends time and space. The stories of these ancient places remind us of our shared humanity, of the joys and struggles that unite us across the ages. Washukani, though lost, remains alive in our collective memory, a testament to the enduring power of history and the indomitable spirit of those who dared to dream. So, let us continue to seek out the whispers of the past, to explore the ruins of lost cities, and to honor the legacies of those who came before us. For in doing so, we not only preserve their stories, but also enrich our own, weaving a narrative that spans generations and echoes through the corridors of time. In the ancient cradle of civilization, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers whisper tales of old, a remarkable culture thrived, the Mitanni. Nestled in the heart of the Fertile Crescent, the Mitanni were not just known for their intricate pottery and vibrant textiles, but they were also famed for their formidable warriors, particularly the elite charioteers whose skill and prowess shaped the battlefield of their time. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the rolling hills of northern Mesopotamia, the sound of hooves pounding against the earth echoed through the valleys. The air was electric with anticipation. Young men, their faces painted with determination, gathered on the training grounds. They were not merely boys, they were the future of the Mitanni, destined to become the charioteers, the warriors who would ride into battle with the sun at their backs and the roar of their chariots heralding their arrival. The training of these charioteers was not a haphazard affair. It was an ancient ritual steeped in tradition and discipline. From dawn until dusk, the young recruits, often barely into their teens, would rise with the sun, their bodies still heavy with sleep, but their spirits ignited by the honor that awaited them. They would begin their day with rigorous physical conditioning, pushing their bodies to the limits of endurance. Running through the rugged terrain, climbing the steep hills, and honing their strength were all part of the preparation that would forge them into the warriors they aspired to be. Their instructors, seasoned veterans of many battles, were not just teachers, they were living legends. With sun-kissed skin and eyes that had seen the horrors of war, they commanded respect. Each instructor carried stories of bravery and sacrifice, tales that flowed like the rivers that sustained their homeland. They taught the young recruits the importance of agility, speed, and precision, essential traits for anyone who would command a chariot. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the charioteers began to focus on the heart of their training, the chariots themselves. Crafted with care, each chariot was a marvel of engineering for its time, made from sturdy wood, reinforced with leather and metal. The recruits learned how to harness the power of the horses, magnificent creatures bred for speed and strength. The bond between a charioteer and his horses was sacred. It was a partnership forged through trust and understanding. In the afternoons, the training became more intense. The sound of wooden wheels clattering against the ground, mixed with the whinnying of horses and the shouts of the instructors, filled the air. The recruits practiced maneuvering their chariots with remarkable precision. They learned to make sharp turns, to race against one another, and to anticipate the movements of their opponents as they galloped across the dusty landscape. But this was not merely a physical challenge, it was also a mental one. The charioteers were taught to think on their feet, to strategize while in motion. They learned the art of war, to read the battlefield, to understand the strengths and weaknesses of their enemies, and to exploit them. Each training session was a lesson in bravery and cunning. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, the young warriors gathered around their instructors for the final part of the day's training. This was a time for reflection and storytelling. The instructors would share tales from their own experiences, recounting battles fought and won, losses that had shaped them, and the importance of brotherhood among warriors. They spoke of the loyalty of their horses, of the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. They instilled in the boys a sense of purpose, reminding them that they fought not just for glory, but for their families, their people, and their land. The lessons learned in these evening gatherings would resonate deeply within the hearts of the young recruits, shaping them not only as warriors, but also as men of honor. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the rigorous training transformed the recruits. They became adept charioteers, mastering the art of speed and maneuverability. Their muscles hardened, their reflexes sharpened, and their spirits soared. Each one was no longer just a boy, but a warrior in the making, ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. But with the promise of glory came the harsh reality of their existence. The world outside the training grounds was fraught with danger. The Mitanni were not the only power in the region. Neighboring kingdoms eyed their wealth and land with envy. The sound of battle drums could often be heard in the distance, a grim reminder that the skills they were honing would soon be put to the ultimate test. And so, the day arrived when the young charioteers would finally face their first real challenge. The air was thick with tension as they gathered at the edge of the battlefield, the ground trembling beneath the hooves of their horses. The sight of enemy chariots lined up across the field sent a wave of fear and excitement coursing through them. This was the moment they had trained for, the culmination of countless hours of sweat and sacrifice. As the battle horn sounded, the world around them faded away. The charioteers surged forward, their hearts pounding in unison with the rhythm of their horses' gallops. They felt the rush of wind against their faces, the adrenaline coursing through their veins, and the thrill of battle igniting their spirits. In that moment, they were not just charioteers. They were the embodiment of the Mitanni warrior spirit, fierce and unyielding. The clash of metal and the cries of warriors filled the air as they maneuvered their chariots with skill and precision. They remembered the teachings of their instructors, weaving in and out of enemy lines, striking with calculated ferocity. The camaraderie they had built during those long training days now manifested itself on the battlefield, as they fought not just for themselves but for one another. When the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded, the young charioteers stood amidst the remnants of conflict, bearing witness to their transformations. They had entered the field as boys and emerged as warriors, forever changed by the experience. The training they had endured had prepared them not just for battle, but for life itself, shaping their identities and forging unbreakable bonds. And thus, the legacy of the Mitanni warriors continued. The training of charioteers was not just a rite of passage. It was the heartbeat of a civilization that thrived on valor and honor, a tale woven into the fabric of history. The stories of those young men, their triumphs and struggles, would echo through the ages, reminding future generations of the spirit of the Mitanni, fierce, proud, and forever unyielding. In the cradle of civilization, where the sun rises over the fertile crescent, three formidable powers once shaped the course of history: the Hittites, the Assyrians, and the Egyptians. Each of these ancient cultures, with their unique strengths and ambitions, found themselves intertwined in a complex tapestry of enmity and rivalry, where alliances shifted like the sands of the desert and battles echoed across the valleys. To understand the dynamics of their relationships, we must first journey back to the heart of Anatolia, where the Hittites rose to prominence around the 17th century BCE. Imagine a realm of vast plateaus and rugged mountains, where the Hittites forged one of the first known civilizations to wield iron. Their mastery over this new metal gave them an edge in warfare, enabling them to expand their territory and influence. The Hittite Empire, with its capital at Hattusa, became a melting pot of cultures, absorbing influences from the surrounding regions, particularly the mighty kingdoms of Egypt and the Assyrian city-states to the east. As the Hittites flourished, their ambitions did not go unnoticed. To the south, the Egyptians, under the rule of the New Kingdom pharaohs, were experiencing their own golden age. Picture the grandeur of Thebes, with its magnificent temples and bustling markets, where the Nile's life-giving waters nourished the land and its people. The Egyptians, known for their monumental architecture and advanced agricultural techniques, sought to expand their influence into the Levant and beyond. This desire for expansion would soon set them on a collision course with their Hittite neighbors. The rivalry between the Hittites and Egyptians came to a head during the reign of Pharaoh Ramses II, a ruler whose very name evokes images of power and grandeur. He was not only a builder of temples, but also a fierce military leader. In the year 1274 BCE, the two great powers clashed at the Battle of Kadesh, a conflict that would become legendary. Envision the vast plains of Kadesh, filled with the sounds of clashing chariots and the cries of warriors. Ramses, leading his troops, sought to assert Egyptian dominance, while the Hittite king, Muwatalli II, aimed to defend his territory. The battle itself was a chaotic affair, with both sides displaying remarkable valor and strategic acumen. As the dust settled, neither power could claim a definitive victory, and yet the clash marked a turning point. The ensuing peace treaty, one of the earliest known in history, symbolized a mutual recognition of power and a shared desire to avoid future bloodshed. This agreement, inscribed on silver tablets, would serve as a blueprint for diplomacy in the centuries to come, illustrating that even among rivals, the pursuit of peace could prevail. But while the Hittites and Egyptians were locked in their enduring struggle, the Assyrians were quietly rising in the background, their ambitions simmering like a pot left too long on the fire. Nestled in the northern reaches of Mesopotamia, the Assyrian Empire was characterized by its fierce military prowess and administrative efficiency. Their capital, Nineveh, became a cultural hub, filled with libraries and innovations that would resonate through the ages. The Assyrians were relentless in their pursuit of expansion, and their aggressive tactics left a lasting impact on the regions they conquered. As they set their sights on the Levant, tensions flared with both the Hittites and Egyptians. The Assyrian king Tiglath-Pileser III, a formidable leader, sought to incorporate the territories of both rivals into his growing empire. Imagine the dread that swept through cities as Assyrian armies, known for their brutal tactics and well-organized legions, advanced toward their borders. The Hittites, once proud and formidable, found themselves increasingly vulnerable. Their empire was plagued by internal strife and external pressures, leading to a gradual decline that would eventually see their influence wane. The Assyrians, ever opportunistic, seized this moment, further complicating the already tangled web of rivalries. Meanwhile, the Egyptians, under the reign of pharaohs such as Merneptah and Ramses III, sought to reassert their dominance, launching campaigns into the Levant to reclaim lost territories. The rivalry reached a fever pitch during the reign of the Assyrian king Ashurbanipal, a ruler known for his intellect and ruthlessness. Under his command, the Assyrian Empire became a juggernaut, subjugating the Hittites and pushing against Egyptian influence in the region. The Assyrians utilized advanced siege warfare, employing tactics that would become the stuff of legend. Imagine the sight of their armies, equipped with iron weapons and chariots, laying siege to once impenetrable fortresses. Yet, the Egyptians were not to be underestimated. They rallied their forces, determined to defend their land from Assyrian encroachment. The Battle of El-Taqei in 701 BCE was a fierce confrontation, where Egyptian forces clashed with the might of the Assyrians. While the Egyptians put up a valiant fight, they could not stem the tide of Assyrian expansion. The Assyrians emerged victorious, leaving a trail of destruction and subjugation in their wake. As the dust settled from these tumultuous conflicts, the landscape of the ancient Near East began to shift dramatically. The Hittite Empire, once a dominant force, succumbed to pressures from both Assyrians and internal strife, leading to its eventual collapse around the 12th century BCE. The Egyptians, while battered and bruised, managed to endure, albeit with diminished influence in the region. Yet, even as one power fell, another would rise. The Assyrian Empire, at its zenith, became a beacon of military might and cultural achievement, but it too would face its own challenges. The relentless pursuit of expansion led to overreach, and the very tactics that had brought them success also sowed the seeds of their downfall. Internal dissent, combined with the rise of new powers, would eventually lead to the collapse of the Assyrian Empire in the late 7th century BCE. The story of the Hittites, Assyrians, and Egyptians is one of ambition, conflict, and the relentless quest for power. Their legacies, though marked by rivalry, also highlight the intricate dance of diplomacy and warfare that defined the ancient world. As we reflect on these great civilizations, we see that even amidst enmity, there were moments of cooperation and understanding. In the end, the echoes of their struggles continue to resonate, reminding us of the complex nature of human relationships throughout history. So, as we stand on the precipice of the past, gazing into the depths of time, let us not forget the lessons learned from these ancient rivals. Their stories, woven together through conflict and resolution, serve as a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity, a spirit that seeks not only to conquer, but also to understand, to learn, and ultimately to coexist. In the heart of the Middle East lies a land steeped in ancient history, a cradle of civilization that has witnessed the rise and fall of empires. This is Syria, a country adorned with the remnants of its glorious past, now caught in the throes of a brutal conflict that has drawn in the powers of the world. Welcome to the chapter of history known as the Battle for Syria, tug-of-war of empires. As we journey through the arid landscapes, the bustling markets of Damascus, and the serene shores of the Mediterranean, we find ourselves in a land where the past intertwines with the present, each echoing the cries of its people. Syria, once a beacon of culture and unity, transformed into a battlefield as civil unrest ignited a fire that would engulf the region and beyond. The year was 2011, and the winds of change swept across the Arab world. Inspired by the revolutions in Tunisia and Egypt, the Syrian people took to the streets, demanding freedom, democracy, and an end to the oppressive regime of Bashar al-Assad. What began as peaceful protests quickly descended into chaos. The government's brutal crackdown unleashed a wave of violence, and the nation spiraled into a civil war that would last for years. As the conflict raged, it drew in powerful players, each with their own agenda, turning the Syrian battleground into a complex chessboard. Russia, seeking to re-establish its influence in the region, stood firmly behind Assad. The Kremlin viewed the Syrian regime as a crucial ally, a bastion against the spread of Western influence in the Middle East. With military support, arms, and strategic advice, Russia positioned itself as Assad's lifeline, sending a clear message. The Kremlin was back on the global stage. Meanwhile, across the ocean, the United States found itself in a moral quandary. The images of suffering and destruction reverberated around the world, stirring outrage. President Obama faced mounting pressure to act, yet the path forward was fraught with peril. America had already experienced the heavy toll of prolonged military engagement in the Middle East. The memories of Iraq and Afghanistan loomed large, casting shadows over any potential intervention in Syria. As the conflict intensified, the Syrian opposition began to splinter. Various factions emerged, some striving for democracy, while others harbored extremist ideologies. Among them was the Islamic State, a group that would soon redefine the conflict. The rise of ISIS not only complicated the war, but also threatened regional stability. Suddenly, the battle for Syria was no longer just about Assad. It became a fight against a brutal insurgency that sought to impose its will on the region. As the world watched, the humanitarian crisis deepened. Millions of Syrians were displaced, forced to flee their homes in search of safety. Refugee camps sprung up across the region, a stark reminder of the war's toll on innocent lives. Families were torn apart, dreams shattered, and the once vibrant culture of Syria faced the threat of extinction. The stories of those who lived through the conflict are profound. We hear the voices of mothers who lost their children, fathers who lost their livelihoods, and children who lost their childhood. Their resilience is a testament to the human spirit, yet their plight remains a haunting echo of war's brutality. In this tumultuous landscape, the Turkish government, led by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, saw an opportunity to expand its influence. Turkey, sharing a long border with Syria, had its own concerns regarding the rise of Kurdish groups in northern Syria, which it viewed as a direct threat. The Kurdish forces, primarily the YPG, had emerged as key players in the fight against ISIS, receiving support from the United States. This complicated the already intricate web of alliances as Turkey found itself in direct opposition to American efforts. As the war dragged on, the dynamics shifted once more. In late 2015, Russia intervened militarily, launching airstrikes against opposition forces. This decisive move turned the tide of the conflict in favor of Assad. With Russian air power backing his regime, the Syrian president began to reclaim territory, marking a significant turning point in the war. Yet, while military might was wielded in the name of sovereignty, the humanitarian implications were devastating. Cities like Aleppo, once vibrant hubs of life, were reduced to rubble. The haunting images of destruction became symbols of a war that seemed unending. The world watched in horror, yet the response was fragmented. Some nations provided aid, while others engaged in political maneuvering, seeking to exploit the chaos for their gain. As we delve deeper into the complexities of the conflict, we uncover the role of Iran. The Islamic Republic saw Syria as a critical ally in its quest for regional dominance. Providing military support and financing to Assad, Iran sought to establish a corridor of influence stretching from Tehran to Beirut, linking its proxies across the region. This strategic ambition heightened tensions with Israel, prompting a series of confrontations as Israel sought to thwart Iranian expansion along its borders. Amidst this geopolitical tug-of-war, the Syrian people's voices often went unheard. Their aspirations for a better future became drowned in the cacophony of war. While world leaders negotiated behind closed doors, ordinary Syrians continued to suffer, their hopes for peace flickering like a candle in the wind. The echoes of their struggles remind us that, at the heart of this conflict, it is the people who pay the highest price. As the years rolled on, the battle for Syria morphed into a protracted stalemate. The international community remained divided, with no consensus on how to resolve the crisis. Ceasefires came and went, often broken before they could take root. Each failed attempt at peace only deepened the mistrust among factions, making reconciliation seem a distant dream. Yet, in the midst of despair, glimmers of hope emerged. Grassroots movements began to take shape, driven by those who believed in a better Syria. Young activists and ordinary citizens, tired of the violence, sought to bridge divides and foster dialogue. Their stories remind us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can rise above the ashes of conflict, yearning for a future defined by unity rather than division. Today, as we reflect on the battle for Syria, tug-of-war of empires, we understand that this struggle is not just a tale of nations clashing for power. It is a story of resilience, a testament to the strength of the human spirit amidst adversity. The echoes of Syria will resonate through history, serving as a reminder of the importance of compassion, understanding, and the relentless pursuit of peace. In the end, the battle for Syria is far from over. The scars of war may fade, but the journey toward healing and reconciliation remains a formidable challenge. As we continue to witness this unfolding narrative, let us not forget the voices of the Syrian people, their dreams, and their unwavering hope for a brighter future. For in their stories lies the essence of humanity, a call to action that transcends borders and beckons us to stand in solidarity with those who seek peace in a world too often torn apart by conflict. In the heart of the ancient Near East, where the sands of time have buried the whispers of empires long forgotten, a tale unfolds, one that intertwines power, ambition, and the delicate threads of diplomacy. This is the story of a treaty that would shape the course of history, a pact forged in the fires of conflict and tempered by the steely resolve of rulers. We journey back to a time when the might of chariots ruled the battlefield and the destinies of nations hung in the balance. As we set the stage, the sun rises over two great civilizations, the Hittites of Anatolia and the Egyptians, guardians of the Nile. The Hittites, formidable warriors known for their advanced chariotry and military prowess, had carved out a vast empire that stretched across the rugged terrain of what is now modern Turkey. While to the south, the Egyptians, under the reign of Pharaoh Ramses II, stood as a beacon of culture and power, their monuments piercing the heavens, a testament to their divine rule. But the world was not static. The winds of change blew across the desert sands, carrying with them the echoes of war. The two empires had clashed in a series of fierce battles, each vying for dominance in the region. The most notable confrontation was the Battle of Kadesh, fought in 1274 BCE, a dramatic clash that would become one of the most celebrated military encounters in history. The chariots thundered across the plains, a cacophony of hooves and metal as both sides vied for supremacy. Ramses II, known as Ramses the Great, led his forces into battle with unyielding courage. He was not merely a king, he was a living god, a figure of mythic proportions, imbued with the strength of the sun god Ra himself. His chariots, adorned with gold and decorated with the symbols of his power, sliced through the ranks of the Hittites, creating a spectacle that would be immortalized in hieroglyphs and stone reliefs. Yet, despite Ramses's valor, the battle was marked by confusion and chaos. The Hittites, under their king Mu'talli II, had devised a strategy that capitalized on their knowledge of the terrain and the element of surprise. The outcome was indecisive, a bloody stalemate that left both empires battered and bruised. As the dust settled over Kadesh, it became evident that neither side could claim victory, yet both knew that the war could not continue indefinitely. In the aftermath, the realization dawned. To persist in this cycle of bloodshed would only lead to mutual destruction. Thus began the slow and arduous journey toward diplomacy. It was a time when the ink of treaties was as potent as the sword, where words could forge alliances as strong as steel. As envoy from both sides traveled across the arid landscape, the world held its breath. The Hittites and Egyptians were no strangers to negotiation, yet the stakes had never been higher. Their leaders were not just negotiating for territory or resources, but for the very future of their peoples. The intricacies of diplomacy were as complex as the hieroglyphs that adorned the walls of temples and palaces. In the grand halls of the Egyptian court, adorned with gold and lapis lazuli, Ramses II contemplated the path ahead. He understood the power of perception. A successful treaty could elevate his standing among his people and beyond. Meanwhile, Mu'talib II, seated in his fortress, grappled with the political ramifications of peace. Both kings were aware that they were but players on a much larger stage, where the ambitions of other nations loomed ominously on the horizon. The negotiations, marked by cautious optimism and underlying tension, ultimately led to an unprecedented conclusion. In 1258 BCE, the Treaty of Kadesh was sealed, a monumental agreement that would become one of the earliest known peace treaties in history. It was a pact that not only established boundaries but also outlined mutual obligations and the respect of sovereignty. The very act of coming together to sign the treaty was a profound statement, one that echoed through the ages. As the parchment was rolled and sealed, the two kings stood before their people, a moment of triumph captured forever in stone and art. The treaty was not merely a document, it was a testament to the power of diplomacy over warfare, a narrative of peace that would resonate through generations. It signified a shift in the dynamics of power, a recognition that cooperation could yield greater rewards than conflict. With the ink still fresh, the fallout of the treaty began to unfold. The Hittites and Egyptians, once bitter enemies, now found themselves bound by mutual interests. Trade routes opened, cultural exchanges flourished, and a sense of stability settled over the region. The chariots that once thundered in battle now traversed the land in peace, carrying goods and ideas, weaving a tapestry of shared prosperity. But like all great tales, the narrative of the Treaty of Kadesh was not without its complexities. The peace was fragile, resting on the delicate balance of power. Both empires continued to keep a wary eye on one another, aware that alliances could shift like the desert sands. The treaty was a beginning, not an end, a stepping stone toward a new understanding yet laden with the weight of historical grievances. As the years turned to decades, the legacy of the treaty evolved. Ramses II and Mu'talib II, while initially rivals, became symbols of a broader narrative, one that spoke to the enduring nature of human conflict and cooperation. Their story would be told and retold, inspiring future generations to seek dialogue over discord, to choose understanding over enmity. In the annals of history, the Treaty of Kadesh stands as a remarkable achievement, a reminder that even in a world dominated by chariots and swords, the true strength of a leader lies not only in their ability to conquer, but in their capacity to foster peace. It is a poignant lesson for us all, echoing through the corridors of time, urging us to remember that diplomacy, when wielded with wisdom and grace, can triumph where might alone may falter. As we reflect on this chapter of history, we are reminded that the battles fought in the past, while etched in stone and memory, are not merely relics of a bygone era. they are lessons, alive and relevant, as we navigate the complexities of our own times. The tale of the Treaty of Kadesh is not just about chariots and kings. It is about the enduring human spirit, the quest for understanding in a world often torn apart by division. So, as we close this chapter, let us carry forward the message of unity and the power of diplomacy, echoing through the ages like the distant rumble of chariots on the horizon, calling us to forge our own paths toward peace in an ever-changing world. In the heart of a bustling village, where the sun rises with a gentle warmth and the first light dances on the dewy grass, life unfolds in a rhythm as ancient as the earth itself. This is a tale of daily life, a story woven through the lives of farmers, craftsmen, and merchants who form the backbone of a community. Each morning, as the roosters crow, the village awakens and the stage is set for a day filled with toil, creativity, and commerce. Our journey begins with the farmers, the quiet stewards of the land. As the sun breaks over the horizon, casting golden rays upon the fields, these diligent souls emerge from their humble abodes. With calloused hands and sun-kissed skin, they gather their tools, ready to embrace the day. The aroma of rich, fertile earth fills the air, a promise of the bountiful harvests to come. In the early hours, the farmers are a symphony of movement. Some till the soil, their wooden ploughs cutting through the earth with purposeful grace, while others sow seeds, their hands gently cradling the grains that will one day sprout into life. Children, with laughter ringing like sweet bells, scamper through the fields, learning the ways of the land from their parents. They watch, wide-eyed, as the elder farmers share stories of the past, tales of droughts and floods, of seasons of plenty and hardship, binding the community with a shared history. As the sun climbs higher, the farmers take a moment to rest, gathering under the shade of a sprawling oak tree. They share bread and cheese, their hands stained with soil as they break their fast. Conversations flow like the gentle breeze, filled with laughter and camaraderie, yet tinged with the weight of their struggles. They speak of the weather, the shifting winds, and the fickle nature of rain, an ever-present companion in their lives. In the next chapter of our story, we turn our gaze to the craftsmen, the artists and artisans who transform raw materials into treasures. Within the village, workshops hum with activity, each one a universe of creativity and skill. The blacksmith, with muscles honed from years of labor, shapes molten metal with a hammer, sparks flying like fireflies in the night. Each strike is a note in a song of craftsmanship, forging tools that will aid the farmers and weapons that will protect the village. Nearby, the potter sits at a wheel, hands deftly molding clay into delicate vessels, each one a testament to patience and artistry. The workshop is alive with the earthy scent of wet clay and the warmth of the kiln, where creations are born anew. The potter's children watch in awe, eyes sparkling with dreams of their own futures, imagining themselves as creators of beauty and utility. As the day progresses, the craftsmen gather in the marketplace, a vibrant tapestry of colors and sounds. Here the air is thick with the fragrance of spices, the clamor of voices exchanging goods, and the rhythmic clinking of coins. Each stall tells a story, from the weaver's vibrant tapestries to the shoemaker's sturdy boots, crafted with care and passion. The village's heartbeat quickens in this space, where relationships are forged not just through trade, but through stories shared and laughter exchanged. And then we meet the merchants, the lifeblood of the village, bridging the gap between the farmers and craftsmen. With carts laden with wares, they traverse the winding paths that lead to neighboring towns, their voices ringing out as they announce their arrivals. The merchants are not merely sellers, they are storytellers, sharing tales of distant lands and the wonders they've seen. In the marketplace, they barter and negotiate, their skills as sharp as the knives they sell. The sound of laughter mingles with the haggling, creating a melody that echoes through the village square. For the merchants, every transaction is a chance to connect, to build relationships that stretch beyond mere commerce. They know the farmers by name, often sharing a meal at the end of a long day, discussing the market's ebb and flow, dreams and aspirations. As dusk descends, the village transforms once more. Lanterns flicker to life, casting a soft glow over the cobblestone paths. Families gather around their fires, sharing the day's stories, the laughter of children mingling with the crackle of flames. The farmers recount their triumphs and trials, the craftsmen showcase their latest creations, and the merchants share news from afar, the fabric of their lives interwoven with the threads of community. In this simple yet profound daily life, we find echoes of resilience and creativity, a testament to the human spirit. The farmers with their unwavering dedication to the land, the craftsmen with their artistry and skill, and the merchants with their ability to connect people and cultures, each plays a vital role in the delicate balance of their world. As the stars begin to twinkle in the night sky, casting a serene light over the village, we reflect on the beauty of these everyday lives. The laughter of children, the sounds of toil, the warmth of community, all come together to create a tapestry rich in history and hope. This is more than a story of farmers, craftsmen, and merchants. It is a narrative of humanity, a reminder of the intricate webs we weave in our pursuit of life and connection. As we close this chapter, let us carry with us the spirit of these villagers, their joys, their struggles, and their unwavering commitment to each other and the land they call home. In the quiet moments, in the laughter shared, and in the hard work of each day, we find the essence of life itself. A beautiful, messy, and extraordinary journey. And so, as the village settles into the embrace of night, we too reflect on our own daily lives. What stories do we carry? What connections do we nurture? In the end, we are all farmers, craftsmen, and merchants of our own narratives, cultivating our dreams, crafting our realities, and trading in the currency of love, hope, and friendship. This tapestry of existence binds us all, reminding us that every day is a new chapter waiting to be written. In a world where every object tells a story, where the whispers of history echo through the delicate curves of a ring or the vibrant glaze of a pot, we embark on a journey into the heart of art and craft. This is a tale woven from the threads of creativity, culture, and the human spirit, where jewelry, pottery, and symbols come together to illustrate the rich tapestry of our existence. Imagine standing in a sun-drenched village where artisans gather under the shade of ancient trees, their hands stained with the colors of their craft. This is a place where the air is thick with inspiration, a place that feels like a living museum, filled with the warmth of the people and the stories they carry. Here, the sounds of laughter and the clinking of tools create a symphony that celebrates the art of creation. Jewelry, one of the oldest forms of art, has adorned humanity since time immemorial. It is not merely an accessory. It is a language of love, status, and identity. Each piece holds a narrative, a connection to the past, and a reflection of the culture from which it originates. Picture a skilled artisan meticulously crafting a necklace, each bead carefully chosen, each clasp designed to be as much a part of the story as the stones themselves. In many cultures, jewelry serves as a rite of passage, a marker of significant life events. A delicate gold bracelet might signify a young girl's coming-of-age ceremony, while a pair of silver earrings might be gifted to celebrate a wedding. Each piece is imbued with emotional weight, passed down through generations, becoming heirlooms that connect the past with the present. The beauty of jewelry lies not only in its aesthetic appeal, but also in its symbolism. Consider the timeless allure of the wedding ring, a simple band that represents a promise, a commitment, a bond that transcends the physical realm. In various cultures, the circle is a powerful symbol of eternity, a reminder that love has no beginning and no end. And it is within this cycle of giving and receiving that the true essence of jewelry emerges, an embodiment of human connection. As we shift our focus from the delicate intricacies of jewelry to the robust and earthy nature of pottery, we find ourselves in a world where the hands of the potter mold clay into vessels that carry both utility and beauty. Pottery, one of humanity's earliest crafts, is a testament to our relationship with the earth. It speaks of survival, creativity, and the innate desire to transform raw materials into something meaningful. Step into a pottery studio and you'll witness the magic unfold. The potter's wheel spins, and with each rotation, a lump of clay transforms into a bowl, a vase, or perhaps a whimsical sculpture. The tactile nature of the clay, warm and inviting, draws the artisan into a dance of creation. As the potter shapes the clay, they pour their essence into it, infusing each piece with their spirit and intention. Throughout history, pottery has held an essential place in daily life. It has served as storage for grains, water, and food, elements crucial for survival. But beyond its practicality, pottery has often been adorned with intricate designs and symbols, telling the stories of the people who created them. In ancient civilizations, ceramic vessels were painted with motifs that represented the cosmos, fertility, and the cycle of life. These symbols, rich in meaning, connected the people to their beliefs, their environment, and each other. As we delve deeper into the realm of pottery, we encounter the significance of symbols. Every swirl, every line etched into the clay holds meaning. A spiral might symbolize the journey of life, while geometric patterns could represent the harmony of the universe. In indigenous cultures, pottery often serves as a canvas, a storytelling medium that conveys the values, traditions, and history of a community. Imagine a gathering of artisans, each showcasing their unique styles and techniques. One potter might incorporate the vibrant colors of their homeland, while another might draw inspiration from the natural world, creating pieces that mirror the beauty of their surroundings. This diversity is what makes pottery a universal language, transcending borders and connecting us all through shared experiences. As our journey unfolds, we find ourselves contemplating the powerful role of symbols in art and craft. Symbols are the silent storytellers, bridging the gap between the tangible and the intangible. They encapsulate complex ideas and emotions, allowing us to communicate in ways that words often cannot. From ancient hieroglyphs etched on stone to modern logos that represent brands, symbols have the power to convey meaning, evoke feelings, and provoke thought. In our exploration of symbols, we turn to the rich heritage of tattoo art. This ancient practice, a form of personal expression, has been utilized by cultures worldwide as a way to mark significant life events, show allegiance, or even convey spiritual beliefs. Each tattoo tells a story, a moment frozen in time, a reminder of a journey taken or a lesson learned. They are living symbols that adorn the skin, celebrating individuality and heritage. As we reflect on the interconnectedness of jewelry, pottery, and symbols, we begin to understand the profound impact of art and craft on our lives. They are not merely objects, they are vessels of meaning, carriers of tradition, and expressions of identity. Each artisan, through their unique perspective and creativity, contributes to the grand narrative of humanity. In this world of art and craft, we find that creativity is a shared thread that binds us together. Whether it's the intricate design of a necklace, the earthy beauty of a handcrafted pot, or the powerful symbolism of a tattoo, each creation invites us to pause and reflect on our own stories. They remind us that we are all artists in our own right, shaping our lives and experiences into a mosaic of meaning. As our exploration comes to a close, we are left with a sense of wonder and appreciation for the artistry that surrounds us. The world is a canvas, and we are the brushes, painting our stories with the colors of our experiences, beliefs, and dreams. In jewelry, pottery, and symbols, we find not just art, but a reflection of ourselves, a celebration of the human spirit and the timeless quest for connection, meaning, and beauty. So, as you go about your day, take a moment to notice the art and craft that envelops you. The jewelry that adorns your friends, the pottery that holds your morning coffee, the symbols that speak to your heart. They are all part of a grand story, one that continues to unfold with each passing moment. Embrace the creativity that surrounds you, and remember that within every piece of art lies a world waiting to be discovered. In the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers carved the land, a remarkable transformation was taking place. This was a time of innovation, discovery, and the birth of new ideas. Among these ideas was a creature that would ignite the imaginations of civilizations for millennia: the horse. These magnificent animals, with their grace and strength, were not merely beasts of burden. They were companions, warriors, and symbols of prestige. And at the center of this burgeoning equestrian world was a man named Kikuli. Kikuli was not just a horse trainer, he was an architect of the relationship between humans and horses, a visionary who understood the intricate dynamics of training. He lived in the Hittite Empire around the 14th century BCE, a time when horses became indispensable for transportation, warfare, and sport. His legacy, however, reaches far beyond the confines of his time. Kikuli's training manuals, known as the Kikuli texts, are some of the earliest known written records on horse training and care. They reveal an intricate weave of knowledge that forms the bedrock of modern equestrian practices. Imagine walking through the arid landscapes of the Hittite region, where the sun sets behind the hills, casting a golden light over the sprawling grasslands. Kikuli, a man of modest stature yet commanding presence, is seen among a small herd of spirited horses. His approach is not one of dominance, but of understanding, respect, and patience. He knew, perhaps better than anyone of his time, that the bond between horse and human was not forged through fear or brute strength, but through trust and communication. As we delve deeper into Kikuli's world, we discover the essence of his training principles. His texts outline a comprehensive approach to horse training that encompasses everything from the selection of horses to their diet, exercise, and emotional well-being. Kikuli believed that a healthy horse was a happy horse, and that the foundation of any successful training regimen lay in the understanding of the animal's needs and instincts. One of the most fascinating aspects of Kikuli's training philosophy is his emphasis on the horse's psychological state. He understood that a horse, much like a human, could experience fear, stress, and anxiety. To navigate these emotional landscapes, Kikuli advocated for gradual exposure to new stimuli, ensuring that each horse was introduced to the world around it at its own pace. This approach not only fostered confidence, but also built a strong bond of trust between horse and handler. As we explore the insights of Kikuli's texts, we find that he was also a pioneer in understanding the importance of conditioning and exercise. He meticulously documented various training methods, which included long-distance endurance training, agility exercises, and even social interactions with other horses. Kikuli's dedication to developing not only the horse's physical capabilities, but also its social behaviors laid the groundwork for the sophisticated training techniques we see today. But Kikuli was not alone in his quest for knowledge. The world of horse training was rich with contributions from various cultures. The Egyptians, for instance, championed the art of chariotry, while the Greeks introduced the concept of classical riding. However, It was Kekule's texts that synthesized the best practices of his time, creating a comprehensive manual that served as a beacon for future generations. As we turn the pages of history, we find that Kekule's influence extended beyond the Hittite Empire. His teachings traveled across time and space, inspiring trainers and horse enthusiasts in distant lands. The principles he established became foundational in the training manuals of the Romans and later echoed through the Renaissance, where the art of horsemanship flourished. His legacy is woven into the tapestry of equestrian history, a thread connecting the past to the present. Picture a medieval knight clad in armor, preparing for battle. His steed stands proudly beneath him, a majestic creature molded by the principles laid out by Kekule. The knight, like Kekule before him, understands that the strength of his horse is not just in its muscles, but in its mind. The relationship they share is one of mutual respect, honed through training that emphasizes trust and understanding. This bond is what separates a mere rider from a true horseman. As the centuries rolled on, the teachings of Kekule continued to resonate. The Renaissance saw a revival of interest in classical texts, leading to the emergence of great equestrians like Xenophon and later Federico Grisoni, who drew heavily from the wisdom of Kekule. In these writings, we see a profound appreciation for the horse's natural instincts and an acknowledgement of the profound connection that exists between horse and rider. In modern times, as we stand on the shoulders of giants, we find that Kekule's influence remains ever present. Contemporary trainers and riders continue to draw from his principles, emphasizing the importance of empathy, patience, and understanding in their approach to horse training. The modern equestrian community is a testament to Kekule's enduring legacy, where his insights have become integral to the ethical treatment and training of horses around the globe. Yet, as we reflect on Kekule's remarkable journey, we must also recognize the broader implications of his work. In a world where technology often dominates our interactions, the relationship between horse and rider serves as a reminder of the beauty found in connection. Kekule's teachings remind us that at the heart of every meaningful relationship, whether between humans or between species, lies trust, respect, and understanding. So, as we journey back to the sun-drenched plains of the Hittite Empire, we find Kekule, a humble man with an extraordinary vision. His training manuals, steeped in wisdom, continue to guide us, bridging the gap between ancient practices and modern understanding. In every hoofbeat, every gallop, and every bond forged between horse and rider, we hear the echoes of Kekule's legacy, a testament to the timeless art and science of horsemanship. In the world of horses, Kekule's name lives on, not just as a figure from the past, but as a symbol of the enduring connection between humans and these majestic creatures. As we honor his contributions, let us also celebrate the spirit of inquiry and compassion that he embodied, a spirit that continues to inspire horse lovers and trainers around the world, reminding us that the journey of understanding is as important as the destination. In the grand tapestry of history, every empire, every civilization that has ever flourished, inevitably faces a turning point, a moment when the tides begin to shift and the bright flame of success starts to flicker. Today, we delve deep into one such moment, a chapter marked by internal struggles and mounting pressures, a chapter we call The Decline Begins. Imagine, if you will, a majestic empire at its zenith. Its influence stretches across vast territories, its wealth flows like the mighty rivers that nourish its lands. Cities bustle with life, innovation thrives, and the people take pride in their shared identity. But beneath the surface of this apparent prosperity lies a current of discontent, a crack in the foundation that, if left unchecked, could lead to its downfall. As we embark on this journey, we find ourselves in the heart of the empire, where the corridors of power echo with the whispers of ambition and betrayal. The ruling elite, once united in their pursuit of glory, now find themselves ensnared in a web of rivalry and greed. Factions emerge, each vying for control, each believing they hold the key to the empire's salvation. But as they clash, the common thread of unity that once bound them begins to fray. In the grand halls where decisions are made, the atmosphere thickens with tension. The leaders, once celebrated for their wisdom, now seem blind to the growing unrest among the populace. They are ensconced in their opulent palaces, surrounded by advisors who echo their thoughts rather than challenge them. This detachment breeds a sense of invulnerability, a dangerous illusion that shields them from the reality that is unfolding beyond their gilded walls. As the leaders bicker and scheme, the citizens, those who toil in the fields and labor in the bustling markets, begin to feel the weight of their rulers' indifference. Taxes rise, burdens increase, and the gap between the rich and the poor widens to an alarming degree. The once harmonious society begins to fracture, with whispers of rebellion echoing in the shadows. People take to the streets, their voices rising in unison, demanding to be heard. Yet the ruling class remains deaf to their pleas, blinded by their own ambitions. Among the discontented, a leader emerges, a figure who embodies the hopes and dreams of the oppressed. With charisma and conviction, this individual stirs the hearts of the masses, urging them to rise against the tyranny of the elite. The voice of the people grows louder, and the tension escalates into a crescendo of unrest. Protests erupt, and the once vibrant cities are filled with the sound of chants and the roar of determination. But as the flames of revolution flicker to life, the internal struggles of the empire reach a boiling point. The elite, now threatened by the very people they once took for granted, scramble to maintain control. They form alliances, betray former friends, and even resort to violence, believing that fear will quell the uprising. Yet, fear is a fickle ally. It may silence a voice for a moment, but it breeds resentment that festers in the hearts of the oppressed. As we watch the struggle unfold, we witness the tragic irony of power. The leaders, in their desperate attempts to retain their position, lose sight of the very principles that once elevated them. The empire's founding ideals, justice, equality, and prosperity for all, fade into the background, overshadowed by personal ambitions and a lust for control. The empire is no longer a beacon of hope. It has become a battleground for its own leaders. The fractures deepen, and soon the once unified factions of the elite splinter further. Former allies become enemies, each plotting against the other as the empire teeters on the brink of chaos. In the shadows, conspiracies weave a dark tapestry, while the citizens watch in horror as their leaders descend into madness. Trust erodes, and with it, the very fabric of society begins to unravel. Simultaneously, external pressures mount. Neighboring kingdoms, sensing vulnerability, sharpen their swords and prepare to strike. The empire's boundaries, once formidable, now appear porous, inviting invasion. It is a precarious moment, one that could spell disaster if not addressed. But the ruling elite, consumed by their internal power struggles, remain oblivious to the encroaching threat. As we witness the empire's decline, we are reminded of the fragility of power. Those who once wielded it with grace now flounder in their inability to adapt. They underestimate the intelligence and resilience of the people they govern, failing to realize that a disillusioned populace can be more dangerous than any invading army. The seeds of revolution have been sown, and they are beginning to take root. In this landscape of turmoil, the voice of the charismatic leader continues to resonate. With each passing day, the movement grows stronger, fueled by the collective yearning for change. The leaders of the empire, cornered by their own making, begin to sense the urgency of the moment. They convene in secret, their discussions fraught with desperation as they plot their next moves. But the irony is palpable. The very measures they consider to quell the uprising, brute force, propaganda, even temporary concessions, only serve to deepen the chasm between them and their citizens. The people, once passive observers, now see themselves as active participants in their destiny. They know that change is not merely a possibility, it is a necessity. As the sun rises on a new day, the streets are alive with energy. The cries for justice echo through the alleys and squares, and the air is charged with a sense of purpose. The citizens, emboldened by their collective strength, prepare for what is to come. In their hearts, they carry the weight of history, the understanding that they are not just fighting for themselves but for future generations. And so, the stage is set for a confrontation that will determine the fate of the empire. The ruling elite, trapped in their internal struggles, face an ever-growing tide of change. As they cling to power, they neglect the truth that has been laid bare before them, that an empire cannot thrive on oppression and division. In the coming days, as the clash unfolds, the world will witness the consequences of neglect, arrogance, and the failure to listen. The decline that began as a whisper will crescendo into a roar, echoing through the annals of history. It is a story that reminds us all of the delicate balance between power and responsibility, a lesson that, as we shall see, reverberates through time. And with this chapter of decline, we turn a page, eager to discover what lies ahead in this epic tale of struggle, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of the people. The journey is far from over, and the echoes of the past will continue to shape the future in ways we cannot yet imagine. In the vast tapestry of ancient civilizations, few stories are as captivating as that of the Assyrians. A tale woven with ambition, conquest, and an insatiable thirst for power, the rise of the Assyrians from a collection of city-states into a formidable empire is a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Journey with me now as we venture into the heart of Mesopotamia, where the seeds of the Assyrian Empire were sown, and witness the emergence of a growing threat that would alter the course of history. Our story begins in the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia, a region nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Around 2500 BCE, the land was a mosaic of cultures, each vying for dominance. Among these cultures, the Assyrians began to carve out their identity in the northern reaches of this fertile land. Initially, Assyria was a mere collection of small city-states, with Ashur, named after the chief god of war, as its capital. Though modest in size, these city-states were rich in resources and strategically positioned along key trade routes, making them significant players in the ever-shifting landscape of power. As we turn the pages of history, we find ourselves in the 14th century BCE, a pivotal moment for the Assyrians. The region was rife with conflict and competition, and it was during this tumultuous time that a new breed of leaders emerged. The Assyrian kings, armed with ambition and vision, sought to expand their influence beyond their borders. They understood that to thrive in a world of rivalries, they needed not just strength, but also cunning and strategy. The first of these kings was Ashurnasirpal II, a name that resonates through the annals of time. Ascending to the throne in 883 BCE, Ashurnasirpal II embarked on a campaign of territorial expansion that would lay the foundation for Assyria's rise. His reign marked a departure from the isolationist policies of his predecessors. With an iron fist and a keen eye for opportunity, he launched a series of military campaigns that expanded Assyrian territory to the Mediterranean coast and deep into the heart of Anatolia. Imagine for a moment the sights and sounds of his conquests. The clanging of swords, the thunder of chariots, and the cries of warriors filled the air as Ashurnasirpal II led his troops into battle. Each victory was not merely a testament to military prowess, but also a means to instill fear in the hearts of his enemies. He was a master of psychological warfare, often showcasing the severed heads of his foes on the walls of conquered cities, a grim reminder of the fate that awaited those who defied him. But conquest was not solely about brute force. Ashurnasirpal II understood the importance of culture and administration. He established a sophisticated bureaucracy that allowed for effective governance over the vast territories he acquired. Roads were built, trade flourished, and with it, the wealth of the Assyrian Empire grew. As the empire expanded, so too did its ambitions. Following Ashurnasirpal II, his son, Shalmaneser III, took the helm of this burgeoning empire. His reign from 859 to 824 BCE was marked by a relentless pursuit of power. Like his father, Shalmaneser III was not one to shy away from conflict. He fought against a coalition of enemies, including the formidable Arameans and the powerful kingdoms of the West. His campaigns were brutal, yet they further solidified Assyria's reputation as a force to be reckoned with. The Assyrian army during this period was a marvel of military innovation. Soldiers were trained rigorously, equipped with advanced weaponry, and organized into disciplined units. The Assyrians utilized chariots, archers, and infantry in a coordinated fashion that left their adversaries reeling. The ingenuity of their military strategies set them apart from other ancient armies, making them a growing threat on the battlefield. Yet, it was not just military might that defined the Assyrian Empire, it was also their unparalleled ability to assimilate the cultures of those they conquered. The Assyrians were shrewd administrators and diplomats. They often allowed local customs to flourish, provided tribute was paid, and loyalty was guaranteed. This approach fostered a sense of stability and helped to integrate diverse peoples into the empire. As we delve deeper into the heart of Assyria, we encounter a culture rich in art and literature. The Assyrians were passionate patrons of the arts, commissioning grand palaces adorned with intricate reliefs and sculptures that depicted their military triumphs and divine favor. The walls of these palaces told stories of gods and kings, of battles won and foes vanquished. The Assyrian kings, particularly Ashurbanipal, who ruled from 668 to 627 BCE, were also great scholars. Ashurbanipal is often remembered for his vast library in Nineveh, which housed thousands of clay tablets inscribed with texts ranging from literature to administrative records. This library not only preserved the knowledge of the ancient world, but also demonstrated the Assyrians' commitment to learning and culture, even amidst their relentless pursuit of power. However, the rise of the Assyrians was not without its challenges. The very tactics that propelled their expansion also sowed the seeds of discord among the nations they sought to dominate. As the empire grew, so did the resentment of subjugated peoples. What was once a unified front began to splinter as various factions sought to reclaim their autonomy. By the late 7th century BCE, the Assyrian Empire was at a crossroads. The very might that had made them a dominant force now became a double-edged sword. The relentless campaigns had stretched their resources thin, and the vastness of their empire made it increasingly difficult to govern effectively. The once feared Assyrians were now facing a rebellion of epic proportions. The stage was set for a dramatic turn of events. Discontent bubbled beneath the surface, and coalitions of Babylonian, Medes, and other nations rose against their Assyrian overlords. The fall of Nineveh in 612 BCE marked the dramatic conclusion of the Assyrian Empire's reign, a powerful reminder of the cyclical nature of history. The story of the Assyrians is one of ambition, ingenuity, and ultimately hubris. Their rise was a marvel of human endeavor, a testament to the heights that can be achieved through strength and strategy. Yet, their downfall serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the mightiest empires can crumble under the weight of their own aspirations. As we reflect on the legacy of the Assyrians, we are left with a profound understanding of the complexities of power. Their story is not merely one of conquest, but also of cultural exchange, innovation, and the eternal struggle for dominance. Through the lens of the Assyrian Empire, we glimpse the intricate dance of civilization, where the rise of one often heralds the fall of another. And so, as we conclude our journey through the annals of Assyrian history, we are reminded that the echoes of their ambition continue to reverberate through time, shaping the world we know today. The Assyrians, once a collection of city-states, transformed into a mighty empire, leaving behind a legacy that still captivates our imagination, a testament to the enduring spirit of human ambition. In the cradle of civilization, where the sun rises over golden fields and the rivers weave through the land like silver threads, a tale of struggle, resilience, and survival unfolds. Our story takes us back to a time of great empires and fierce warriors, a time marked by ambition and the relentless pursuit of power. This is the story of the Hittite invasion and the desperate struggle for survival that ensued, a saga that echoes through the ages. The year is approximately 1200 BCE, and the ancient Near East is a tapestry of vibrant cultures, bustling cities, and powerful kingdoms. Among these, the Hittites stand out, a fierce people from the Anatolian plateau poised for conquest and expansion. With their advanced chariots, skilled warriors, and an insatiable hunger for territory, they cast their eyes toward the rich lands of the Levant, where the glimmering cities of the Egyptians, Canaanites, and others lie ripe for the taking. In the heart of this region, we find the kingdom of the Hittites' most formidable opponent, the Egyptians. Under the rule of Pharaoh Ramses III, the Egyptians had built a formidable empire, one that had weathered invasions, droughts, and rebellions. Ramses III, a warrior king, had not only to defend his borders, but also to protect the very essence of Egyptian culture and identity. His soldiers, trained in the art of war, were fiercely loyal, their hearts beating as one with the rhythm of the Nile. As the Hittite armies marched south, their banners fluttering in the wind, the Egyptian scouts reported the ominous news. The ground trembled under the weight of Hittite chariots, their bronze blades glinting in the sun like harbingers of doom. The looming threat forced Ramses III into action. He called upon his generals, his wise advisors, and his bravest warriors. The spirit of ancient Egypt stirred within him, igniting a fire that would not easily be extinguished. The Egyptian forces gathered at the border, a sea of shields and spears reflecting the sun's rays. They prepared for the battle that would determine their fate. Among them was a young soldier named Khaemwaset, a man of humble origins who had risen through the ranks due to his bravery and cunning. He had heard the tales of the Hittite invaders, their ruthless tactics and unyielding resolve. Yet, in his heart, Khaemwaset held on to hope, a belief that the spirit of Egypt would shine through the darkness. As the two armies clashed on the fields of battle, the air thickened with the sounds of war, clanging metal, the cries of men, and the thunder of hooves. The Hittites, confident and relentless, charged forward, their chariots a whirlwind of destruction. But the Egyptians stood firm, their formations holding against the initial onslaught. Ramses III, a figure of authority amidst the chaos, rallied his men, reminding them of their rich history and the gods who walked among them. The battle raged on, a chaotic dance of life and death, where valor met desperation. Khaemwaset fought with all his might, his sword slicing through the air, his heart pounding with the rhythm of survival. He saw his comrades fall, yet he pressed on, driven by a primal instinct to protect his homeland. Each clash of steel, each roar of battle echoed the struggles of generations past, and in that moment he understood. This was more than a fight for territory, it was a fight for the very soul of Egypt. As day turned to dusk, the tide of battle began to shift. The Hittites, who had initially charged with unbridled ferocity, found themselves facing an unyielding wall of Egyptian resolve. Ramses III, with the wisdom of a seasoned leader, had altered his tactics, drawing upon the strength of his infantry while utilizing the agility of his chariots to outmaneuver the Hittite forces. Khemwaset, seizing an opportunity, led a daring flanking maneuver that caught the Hittites off guard, turning the tide in favor of the Egyptians. But victory was not yet secured. The Hittites, wounded but not broken, regrouped and launched a fierce counterattack. The ground shook beneath their feet as they charged once more, their eyes blazing with determination. For every Egyptian who fell, another rose to take his place, a testament to their unyielding spirit. The battle became a brutal testament to endurance, a struggle that tested the limits of human resilience. As night fell, the battlefield became a mosaic of shadows and flickering flames, the cries of the wounded woven into the fabric of the night. Both armies, weary and battered, faced a choice: continue the fight until only one remained standing, or seek a path to survival through negotiation. In the heart of that darkness, a revelation dawned upon Ramses III, a realization that true strength lay not just in conquest, but in the preservation of life. In a moment of boldness, he sent emissaries to the Hittite commander, proposing a truce. The Hittite leader, intrigued and perhaps weary from the brutal clash, agreed to meet under the flickering light of torches. The two men, warriors on opposite sides, found themselves seated amidst the remnants of war, their armies watching with bated breath. They spoke not of defeat or victory, but of survival, of the lands they both cherished and the people who depended upon them. Through dialogue, a fragile understanding emerged. The Hittites, recognizing the strength of the Egyptians, and the Egyptians, acknowledging the might of the Hittite warriors, forged a pact, a truce born not from weakness, but from a shared desire to protect their homelands and ensure a future for their people. The battle that had threatened to engulf them both in destruction instead became a catalyst for peace. In the years that followed, the scars of war would heal, and the two great civilizations would learn to coexist. Trade routes opened, cultures intertwined, and the once bitter enemies became allies in a world fraught with uncertainty. Khemwaset, now a seasoned veteran, looked upon the horizon with hope, realizing that true survival was not merely about winning battles, but about finding a way to live together amidst the chaos of life. The Hittite invasion and the struggle for survival became part of the rich tapestry of history, a tale of heroism, resilience, and the enduring spirit of humanity. It serves as a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, compassion and understanding can pave the way for a brighter future. And as the sun sets on this chapter of history, the echoes of those who fought and negotiated for survival linger on, reminding us all of the power of unity in a world often torn apart by conflict. In the cradle of the ancient Near East, where the sun cast its golden glow over the arid landscape, there once thrived a city that stood as a beacon of power and culture. This city was Washukani, the illustrious capital of the Mitanni Empire, a realm that flourished around 1500 to 1300 BCE. But like the sands of time that slip through our fingers, the fate of Washukani would shift, leading to its tragic downfall. This is the tale of the fall of Washukani, the end of a capital, the echoes of its legacy still whispering through the corridors of history. Nestled along the banks of the Kabur River, Washukani was not just a city, it was a melting pot of cultures, where the influences of the Hurrians, Hittites and Egyptians converged. The air was thick with the scents of spices and the sounds of merchants haggling in the vibrant markets. The citizens reveled in the bounty of their fertile lands, their lives woven together by a rich tapestry of shared stories, traditions, and ambitions. The city was a symbol of prosperity, its grand palaces and temples a testament to the might of the Mitanni kings who ruled with both wisdom and strength. Among these rulers was one of the most notable kings, Tushratta, whose reign marked the zenith of Washukani's power. He was not just a king, he was a diplomat, an artist, and a visionary. Under his leadership, the empire expanded its reach, establishing alliances through marriage and trade. Tushratta's correspondence with Pharaoh Akhenaten of Egypt is legendary, a dance of diplomacy that reflects the intricate web of relationships that spanned across the ancient world. The letters exchanged between them reveal a mutual respect, a yearning for peace amidst the backdrop of an ever-changing political landscape. But as the sun rises and sets, so too do the fortunes of empires. The very alliances that once strengthened Washukani would soon become its undoing. The rise of the Hittites to the west and the Assyrians to the east began to cast long shadows over the Mitanni Empire. It was a time of uncertainty where whispers of betrayal and impending doom haunted the royal court. As the threats loomed larger, the once vibrant streets of Washukani grew quieter, the laughter of its people muffled by the weight of impending calamity. In the midst of this turmoil, Tushratta sought counsel from the gods, offering sacrifices at the grand temples that dotted the skyline of his beloved city. He believed that divine favor could shield Washukani from the storm that was brewing on the horizon. Yet, even as he prayed, the winds of fate were already shifting. The Assyrians, led by the ambitious king Ashur-uballit, were gathering their forces, their eyes set on the rich lands of the Mitanni Empire. The decisive moment came in the year 1350 BCE. The Assyrian army, a formidable force honed by years of conquest, marched towards Washukani, their intentions clear. Tushratta, realizing the imminent threat, attempted to rally his forces. He sent out messengers to neighboring allies, seeking support from those who once stood by his side. But the tide of loyalty had turned, and many chose self-preservation over allegiance. The bonds that had once seemed unbreakable began to fray, and the walls of Washukani trembled under the weight of betrayal. As the Assyrians approached, the citizens of Washukani found themselves caught between despair and determination. The grand palaces that had once echoed with the laughter of kings were now filled with the sounds of clashing swords and the cries of the wounded. The streets, once alive with the vibrant colors of trade and celebration, were painted with the grim hues of war. Families huddled together praying for deliverance while warriors prepared to defend their home against the encroaching darkness. The battle that ensued was fierce and unrelenting. The Assyrians, driven by ambition and the promise of conquest, clashed with the defenders of Washukani, who fought valiantly for their homeland. The air was thick with the scent of sweat and blood as the cries of the fallen echoed through the valley. Tushratta, determined to protect his city, rode into battle alongside his soldiers, his heart heavy with the burden of leadership. But fate is often cruel, and the gods, it seemed, had turned their backs on Washukani. The Assyrian forces, relentless in their assault, began to breach the city's defenses. Walls that had stood for generations crumbled under the weight of the siege, and as the sun set on that fateful day, the city that had once stood proud began to fall into chaos. The citizens, overwhelmed and outnumbered, could only watch in horror as their beloved Washukani was consumed by flames. As the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded, the reality of defeat washed over the remnants of the city. Tushratta, realizing the futility of further resistance, made the heart-wrenching decision to flee. With a small group of loyal followers, he slipped through the shadows of the city that had been his life's work. The king's heart was heavy with sorrow, knowing that he was leaving behind not just a city, but a legacy, a culture that had thrived for centuries. Washukani, once a jewel of the Mitanni Empire, fell into the hands of the Assyrians. The conquerors looted the city, taking with them treasures that had been amassed over generations. The palaces that had echoed with laughter were reduced to ruins, and the vibrant streets lay silent, haunted by memories of a past that could never be reclaimed. The fall of Washukani marked not just the end of a city, but the beginning of a new era, one where the Mitanni Empire would fade into the annals of history, overshadowed by the rise of new powers. Yet as we reflect on the fall of Washukani, we cannot overlook the lessons it imparts. The city's story serves as a reminder of the fragility of power, the importance of unity, and the unyielding march of time. For every rise there is a fall, and every empire, no matter how grand, must eventually reckon with its mortality. Today, as we walk through the remnants of ancient civilizations, we honor the memory of Washukani. Its legacy lives on, not only in the archaeological remains that tell its story, but also in the spirit of resilience that continues to inspire us. The end of Washukani was not just the end of a capital, it was a chapter in the vast narrative of human experience, a testament to our capacity for both greatness and tragedy. And so, as the sun sets over the ruins of this once great city, we are reminded that in the grand tapestry of history, every thread, every story, no matter how tragic, adds to the richness of our shared human experience. The fall of Washukani may have marked the end of an era, but its echoes continue to resonate through time, urging us to remember, to learn, and to honor the past. In the annals of ancient history, there exists a tapestry woven with threads of ambition, conflict, and cultural exchange. One of the most captivating chapters in this grand narrative is that of the Mitanni, a people whose legacy flickered brightly in the cradle of civilization before being absorbed into the powerful empires of Assyria and Hatti. As we embark on this journey through time, let us immerse ourselves in the vibrant world of the Mitanni, exploring their origins, their rise to prominence, and the forces that ultimately led to their integration into the larger tapestry of the ancient Near East. The Mitanni civilization arose in the 15th century BCE, nestled in the fertile lands of northern Mesopotamia, an area we now recognize as parts of modern-day Syria and Iraq. This region, rich in natural resources and strategically positioned along trade routes, became a melting pot of cultures and influences. The Mitanni were an Indo-Aryan people, their language and culture intertwined with the legacy of the ancient Aryan migrations. They were skilled horsemen and warriors, and their prowess on the battlefield would soon earn them a reputation that echoed through the ages. At the height of their power, the Mitanni established a formidable kingdom, stretching from the banks of the Euphrates River to the edges of the Hittite territories in the west. They engaged in trade and diplomacy with neighboring states, forging alliances through marriage and treaties. The Mitanni court became a hub of cultural exchange where artisans, scholars, and diplomats came together, sharing knowledge and fostering a unique identity. One cannot speak of the Mitanni without acknowledging the significance of their horses. The Mitanni were renowned for breeding exceptional steeds, which played a pivotal role in their military successes. Their cavalry tactics were revolutionary, allowing them to dominate the battlefield against adversaries who were often caught off guard by the speed and agility of the Mitanni horsemen. The love of horses would intertwine with their culture, giving rise to a pantheon of deities associated with equestrianism, further enriching their spiritual and social life. As the Mitanni kingdom flourished, it caught the attention of its powerful neighbors. To the north lay Assyria, a rising empire known for its military might and ambition. To the west was Hatti, the kingdom of the Hittites, whose own aspirations for dominance often clashed with those of the Mitanni. These geopolitical dynamics set the stage for a complex interplay of alliances and rivalries that would ultimately shape the fate of the Mitanni. As the 14th century BCE progressed, the tides of fortune began to shift. The Assyrians, under the leadership of their ambitious kings, began to expand their territory, seeking to control the vital trade routes and resources that lay within the Mitanni realm. The Mitanni, while formidable, found themselves caught in a tightening vice, forced to navigate the treacherous waters of diplomacy while bolstering their defenses against encroaching enemies. During this tumultuous period, the Mitanni forged alliances with Egypt, another power eager to counterbalance Assyrian expansion. The marriage of Mitanni princesses to Egyptian pharaohs served to strengthen ties between these two kingdoms, creating a delicate balance of power. Yet, in the Game of Thrones that defined this era, betrayal and shifting allegiances were the norm, and the Mitanni would soon find themselves on the losing side of this complex geopolitical chessboard. As Assyria grew bolder, it launched a series of military campaigns against the Mitanni. The once mighty kingdom struggled to maintain its sovereignty, battling not only external forces, but also internal dissent. The Hittites, seizing the opportunity, began to encroach on Mitanni territory, further destabilizing the region. The combined pressure from these powerful adversaries ultimately led to the decline of the Mitanni kingdom, their once vibrant culture at risk of being overshadowed by the ambitions of their neighbors. By the late 13th century BCE, the Mitanni kingdom had become a shadow of its former self. The Assyrians, relentless in their pursuit of dominance, achieved a decisive victory over the Mitanni, effectively dismantling their political structure. Yet, as the dust settled on the battlefields, something remarkable occurred. Instead of erasing Mitanni identity, the Assyrians absorbed aspects of their culture, art, and traditions. The Mitanni horsemen became integral to the Assyrian military, their expertise enhancing the might of the Assyrian cavalry. This cultural absorption did not go unnoticed. The Hittites, too, acknowledged the influence of the Mitanni, incorporating elements of their language and customs into their own society. The legacy of the Mitanni endured, woven into the fabric of both Assyria and Hatti, a testament to the resilience of a people who, though conquered, left an indelible mark on history. As we reflect on the story of the Mitanni, we are reminded of the intricate dance of power, culture, and identity that defines the human experience. The absorption of the Mitanni into Assyria and Hatti highlights the complexities of ancient politics, where alliances shifted like sand and cultures intertwined through both conflict and cooperation. In their rise and fall, we find echoes of our own struggles and triumphs, a reminder that history is not merely a series of events but a rich tapestry of human endeavor. The Mitanni may no longer stand as an independent kingdom, but their legacy lives on. In the horses that galloped across the plains of Mesopotamia, in the art that adorned their courts, and in the languages that evolved from their tongues, we find traces of a civilization that once flourished. As we delve into the past, we uncover the stories of those who came before us, their dreams, aspirations, and challenges forever shaping the world we inhabit today. In conclusion, the absorption of the Mitanni into Assyria and Hatti is not merely a tale of conquest and loss, it is a narrative of resilience, adaptation, and the enduring nature of culture. As we peer into the depths of history, we are reminded that every civilization, no matter how great, grapples with the forces of change. The Mitanni, once a beacon of power and influence, remind us that even in decline, the essence of a culture can persist, weaving itself into the broader tapestry of human history. Their story is a testament to the complexity of our shared past, a reminder that from the ashes of one civilization, new legacies can emerge, forever altering the course of humanity. In the heart of the ancient Near East, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers weave their timeless paths through sun-baked plains and rugged mountains, a civilization once thrived, a civilization shrouded in mystery and almost forgotten by time. This is the story of the Mitanni, a people who rose to power, left their mark upon history, and then slipped quietly into the shadows, their legacy whispering through the ages like an echo in a vast canyon. Welcome to Chap 25, The Silent People, What Remained of the Mitanni. Picture, if you will, the land of Mitanni, a kingdom that flourished between the 15th and 13th centuries BCE, nestled in what is now northern Iraq and parts of Syria. It was a realm where the art of horse training reached its zenith, where the chariot became a symbol of power, and where the gods of the Hurrian pantheon watched over the lives of its people. The Mitanni were not just a tribe, they were a melting pot of cultures, a vibrant tapestry woven from the threads of the Hurrians, the Indo-Aryans, and the peoples of the ancient Near East. As we delve deeper into the heart of this lost civilization, we discover a society rich in innovation and artistry. The Mitanni were master horsemen, their knowledge of equestrian arts legendary. They understood that the horse was not just a beast of burden, but a partner in warfare, a companion in peace. They developed sophisticated training techniques that would influence the charioteers of civilizations to come. Their horses were prized across the region, and it is said that the kings of Egypt sought to acquire these exceptional steeds for their own royal stables. But the Mitanni were more than just warriors. They were also diplomats. In a world where power was often measured by strength and conquest, the Mitanni mastered the art of negotiation. Their kings, such as the formidable Tushratta, forged alliances through marriage and treaties, intertwining their fates with those of Egypt and Assyria. These alliances brought prosperity, but also placed the Mitanni at the center of a geopolitical chessboard, where every move could lead to triumph or disaster. Yet, as we survey the landscape of this ancient kingdom, we cannot help but notice the fragility of their existence. The rise of the Mitanni coincided with the decline of the Hittite Empire and the growing power of the Assyrians. The echoes of war reverberated across the region as rival factions vied for supremacy. It was a time of uncertainty, a time when the fate of nations hung in the balance. The Mitanni, despite their prowess, could not escape the tides of history. As the sun set on the Mitanni's golden age, a series of invasions and internal strife began to unravel the fabric of their society. The Assyrians, who had once been allies, turned into fierce adversaries. The Mitanni, caught in a web of conflict, began to lose their grip on power. Their cities, once bustling with life, fell silent, their streets abandoned, their temples left to crumble under the weight of time. In this moment of despair, the silent people of the Mitanni began to fade into obscurity. The records of their existence became scarce, their languages lost to the winds of change. Archaeological excavations in modern-day Iraq and Syria have unearthed remnants of their civilization, pottery, inscriptions, and the ruins of sprawling cities. But much of their story remains untold, hidden beneath layers of earth and history. Yet amidst the silence, the legacy of the Mitanni can be glimpsed in the echoes of their influences. Their contributions to the art of chariotry, their advancements in horse breeding, and their diplomatic strategies have left an indelible mark on the civilizations that followed. The stories of their kings and queens, once celebrated, are now whispers carried by the winds of time, reminding us of a people who dared to dream, to conquer, and to connect. As we journey through the ruins of their once great cities, we can almost hear the laughter of children playing in the streets, the calls of merchants hawking their wares, and the clang of swords clashing in battle. These sounds, now mere memories, echo in the hearts of those who seek to understand the Mitanni, who seek to breathe life into the silent people. The Mitanni's story is not just a tale of rise and fall. It is a reminder of the impermanence of power and the resilience of culture. Their ability to adapt, to create, and to negotiate their place in a world filled with turmoil speaks to the human spirit's capacity for survival. Even in silence, the Mitanni's influence persists, woven into the fabric of history like a thread that refuses to be severed. As we look to the future, we must remember that history is not merely a collection of dates and events. It is the story of people, their dreams, their struggles, and their legacies. The Mitanni may be silent now, but their echoes continue to resonate, calling out to those who will listen. Their lessons, steeped in the richness of experience, remind us to cherish our connections, to celebrate our differences, and to honor the past as we forge ahead into an uncertain future. In the end, the story of the Mitanni is not just about what was lost, but also about what remains. It is a testament to the enduring power of memory, a celebration of the human experience that transcends time and space. The silent people may have vanished from the pages of history, but their spirit lives on in the hearts of those who seek to understand the intricate tapestry of human civilization. So, as we close this chapter on the Mitanni, let us carry their story with us, a reminder that even in silence there is strength, and even in loss there is a legacy that can inspire generations to come. For history is not merely the past, it is a living, breathing narrative that shapes our present and guides our future. And in the tale of the silent people, we find hope, resilience, and the unbreakable bond of humanity that connects us all. In the heart of a lush, forgotten valley where nature weaves its tapestry of life lies a secret whispered only by the winds and the rustling leaves. This is a place where time stands still, where echoes of a long-lost kingdom linger in the air, waiting to be uncovered. As we embark on this journey into the past, we will unravel the archaeological traces that tell the story of a vanished civilization. A kingdom that once thrived, yet now exists only in fragments buried beneath the earth. We begin our exploration in the early morning light, when the sun casts a golden hue over the landscape. It is here, in this tranquil setting, that the remnants of the kingdom come alive. With every step, we tread upon the very soil that once supported the lives of its inhabitants. Imagine, if you will, the bustling activity of a vibrant city, teeming with people whose laughter and shouts filled the air, their dreams and ambitions woven into the very fabric of this land. Archaeologists, modern-day explorers, have dedicated their lives to uncovering the mysteries of this vanished kingdom. Their tools, simple yet powerful, enable them to peel back the layers of time. Each excavation site reveals a treasure trove of artifacts, pottery shards adorned with intricate designs, tools that speak of craftsmanship, and remnants of structures that once stood proud against the elements. Each find is a whisper from the past, a clue that beckons us to listen closely. Among the most poignant discoveries is a beautifully crafted pottery piece, its glaze shimmering in the sunlight. This fragment, once part of a grand vessel, tells us about the artistry and daily life of the kingdom's people. What stories did it hold? Did it serve as a container for fragrant oils, or perhaps as a vessel for sharing meals with loved ones? The imagination runs wild as we envision the hands that shaped it, the eyes that admired it, and the lives that revolved around it. As we delve deeper into the heart of this kingdom, we come upon the remnants of a once mighty fortress. Its crumbling walls stand as a testament to the strength and resilience of its builders. Here, we can almost hear the clash of swords and the rallying cries of warriors defending their home against invaders. The echoes of history resonate in the silence, reminding us of the struggles and triumphs that defined this civilization. But what led to the kingdom's decline? What forces conspired to erase it from the annals of history? As we sift through the evidence, we encounter signs of environmental change, shifts in climate that may have transformed fertile land into barren wastelands. The delicate balance of life is often a fragile one, and the kingdom may have succumbed to the very forces of nature that once nurtured it. Yet it is not solely the environment that we must consider. The remnants of trade routes, visible in the form of ancient paths, reveal connections that extend far beyond the valley. This kingdom was not an isolated entity. It was a vibrant part of a broader network, exchanging goods, ideas, and cultures with neighboring realms. We can envision merchants, laden with wares, traversing these paths, their stories intertwining with those of the kingdom's inhabitants. Among the artifacts unearthed, we find objects that hint at the kingdom's spiritual life. Intricate amulets and ceremonial tools speak of a people deeply connected to their beliefs and traditions. What gods did they worship? What rituals did they perform? These artifacts serve as a bridge to understanding their worldview, illuminating the hopes and fears that shaped their existence. As we piece together this puzzle, we encounter the remnants of a grand temple, its faded carvings depicting scenes of divine encounters and celestial beings. It is here that we sense the heartbeat of the kingdom, the place where the spiritual met the mundane, where the community gathered to seek guidance and solace. The air is thick with reverence as we imagine the prayers that echoed within these walls, the offerings laid at the feet of deities, and the communal bonds forged in moments of worship. However, no kingdom is without its shadows. The remnants of conflict lie scattered among the ruins, a testament to the darker aspects of human nature. Weapons, broken and rusted, tell tales of battles fought and bloodshed. They remind us that the quest for power and control often comes at a great cost. As we ponder these artifacts, we are reminded of the cyclical nature of history, where the rise and fall of empires often follow a path paved with ambition and strife. The kingdom, as we have come to know it, is not merely a collection of stones and relics. It is a tapestry of human experience, woven with love, loss, joy, and despair. Each artifact we uncover adds a new thread to this intricate design, inviting us to reflect on the essence of humanity itself. We are reminded that, despite the passage of time, the emotions and struggles of those who lived here resonate with us still. In our quest for understanding, we must also confront the silence that surrounds the vanished kingdom. What stories remain untold? What lives have been lost to the ravages of time? As we gaze upon the remnants, we are compelled to honor those who came before us, to acknowledge their existence, and to give voice to their experiences. As our journey draws to a close, we stand amidst the ruins, enveloped in a profound sense of connection to the past. The echoes of the vanished kingdom linger in the air, a reminder that history is not merely a series of events, but a living narrative that continues to shape our present. Through the archaeological traces we have unearthed, we have glimpsed the beauty and complexity of a civilization that once flourished, a kingdom that, though lost to time, will forever remain a part of our shared human heritage. In the end, as we walk away from this enchanted valley, we carry with us the stories of those who lived, loved, and struggled in a world now faded from memory. Their legacy endures, not only in the artifacts we have discovered, but in the very essence of what it means to be human, a quest for understanding, connection, and belonging that transcends time and space. And so, we leave with our hearts full, our spirits enriched, and a deeper appreciation for the intricate tapestry of life that binds us all across the ages. In the heart of ancient history lies an enigma, a puzzle that has captivated scholars, historians, and seekers of truth for centuries. This is the story of the Indo-Aryan puzzle, a tale woven with threads of mythology, language, and shared divinity. Our journey takes us through the landscapes of time, unraveling the connections between the peoples of Vedic India and the ancient Indo-Europeans. Imagine, if you will, a time long before the advent of modern civilization, a time when the world was a tapestry of tribes and clans, each with its own beliefs, languages, and gods. Among these, two groups stand out: the Vedic people of the Indian subcontinent and their distant relatives, the Indo-Europeans, who roamed the expansive steppes of Eurasia. The Indo-Aryan puzzle invites us to explore the threads that bind these two cultures together, revealing a narrative rich in shared gods and intertwined destinies. Our story begins in the vast plains of northern India, where the Vedic civilization flourished around 1500 BCE. It was a time when the sacred texts known as the Vedas were composed, filled with hymns, rituals, and philosophical musings that would shape the spiritual landscape of the region for millennia. The Vedic people worshipped a pantheon of deities, many of whom embodied the forces of nature: Agni, the fire god; Indra, the king of the gods and ruler of storms; and Varuna, the guardian of cosmic order. But the question that lingers like a haunting echo is, where did these gods come from? To answer that, we must journey westward to the vast, rolling plains of Central Asia, where the Indo-European tribes roamed. These were the ancestors of many modern peoples, their languages giving rise to a family that includes Hindi, Persian, Greek, and Latin. As we delve deeper into their history, we discover that they too had a rich tapestry of deities, many strikingly similar to those worshipped by the Vedic people. At the heart of this shared mythology lies a common ancestor, a linguistic and cultural connection that dates back thousands of years. This ancestor, often referred to as the Proto-Indo-European society, believed in gods that mirrored the natural world, much like the Vedic pantheon. They too revered the sky, the fire, and the waters, giving rise to a pantheon that would echo through generations. Take, for instance, the figure of Dyaus Pitar, the sky god revered by the Indo-Europeans. His name resonates with the Vedic deity Dyaus, both embodying the essence of the celestial realm. The parallels continue with the storm god, who in the Vedic tradition is represented by Indra, and in the Indo-European traditions is often associated with figures like Thor in Norse mythology or Zeus in Greek lore. These connections are not mere coincidences, they are the remnants of a cultural memory that stretches across millennia. As we trace the footsteps of these ancient peoples, we discover that the Indo-Aryans, as they migrated into the Indian subcontinent, brought with them not only their language and customs, but also their gods. The Vedic texts reflect this synthesis, illustrating a rich dialogue between the indigenous cultures of the Indian subcontinent and the incoming Indo-Aryan traditions. The result was a vibrant tapestry of beliefs that would form the backbone of Hinduism, one of the world's oldest religions. But this story is not merely one of migration and assimilation. It is also a narrative of conflict and coexistence. As the Indo-Aryans settled in the fertile plains of the Indus Valley, they encountered the indigenous Dravidian populations who had their own rich traditions and deities. This interaction was not always peaceful. The Vedic texts contain hints of tension and strife, reflecting the struggles for dominance and cultural supremacy. Yet, from this crucible of conflict emerged a remarkable fusion. The Vedic rituals and hymns began to incorporate elements of Dravidian spirituality, creating a dynamic interplay between the two cultures. The gods of the indigenous people were woven into the fabric of the Vedic pantheon, resulting in a more complex and nuanced understanding of divinity. This synthesis is evident in the reverence for goddesses such as Durga and Kali, who would come to symbolize the feminine divine in a predominantly male-centric pantheon. As we venture deeper into this narrative, we cannot overlook the significance of language in this shared heritage. The Sanskrit of the Vedas echoes the ancient tongues of the Indo-Europeans, a reminder of their common roots. It is a testament to the power of language as a vessel of culture, a means by which stories, beliefs, and identities are passed down through generations. The linguistic parallels not only reveal the shared history of these peoples, but also serve as a bridge connecting the past with the present. In modern times, the legacy of this shared heritage continues to resonate. The gods of the Vedic tradition find their way into contemporary religious practices, while the linguistic connections remind us of the intricate web of human history. Festivals celebrating deities like Indra or Agni are vibrant expressions of a culture that has thrived for millennia, evolving yet rooted in the past. Yet, the Indo-Aryan puzzle is not without its controversies. The question of migration versus indigenous development remains a topic of heated debate among scholars. Some argue for a model of gradual cultural evolution, while others advocate for a more abrupt influx of Indo-Aryan peoples. What is undeniable, however, is the enduring legacy of this intersection of cultures, a legacy that is still felt in the fabric of Indian society today. As we reflect on the Indo-Aryan puzzle, we are reminded of the universal quest for understanding and connection. In the grand tapestry of human history, the threads of shared gods and beliefs intertwine, reminding us that despite our differences, we are bound together by a common heritage. The gods of the Vedic tradition, once distant echoes of a shared past, continue to inspire millions today, transcending time and space. So, as we stand at the crossroads of history, let us embrace the complexity of our shared narratives. Let us celebrate the gods that have guided us through the ages, the stories that have shaped our identities, and the connections that remind us of our shared humanity. The Indo-Aryan puzzle is not just a historical conundrum. It is a testament to the enduring power of belief and the timeless quest for understanding our place in the cosmos. And in this intricate dance of cultures, we find not only our origins, but also a glimpse of the future that binds us all together. In the heart of the ancient Near East, a civilization flourished, leaving behind whispers of its grandeur and mystery. This is the story of the Mitanni, a people whose legacy continues to evoke fascination among historians and archaeologists alike. Today, we delve into the modern theories surrounding the Mitanni legacy, exploring how historians have pieced together the fragments of their history, culture, and influence. Imagine, if you will, a landscape of rolling hills and fertile plains where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers weave through the land, nurturing the seeds of a civilization. The Mitanni Empire, at its height around the 15th century BCE, spanned across what is now northern Iraq, eastern Syria, and parts of Turkey. It was a time when the echoes of chariots resonated through the valleys, and the scent of rich spices filled the air. The Mitanni were not just warriors, they were artisans, diplomats, and innovators, leaving an indelible mark on the tapestry of history. As we journey through the annals of time, we encounter the first modern historians who sought to unravel the enigma of the Mitanni. In the early 20th century, archaeologists began to unearth artifacts that hinted at the complexity of this civilization. Pottery, inscriptions, and the remnants of grand palaces revealed a society that was sophisticated and culturally rich. Yet, the true depth of the Mitanni legacy remained obscured, buried beneath layers of time and neglect. One of the most compelling aspects of the Mitanni is their relationship with neighboring powers. Among these, the Egyptians and Hittites stand out as significant players. The Mitanni were not merely subjects of their larger neighbors, they were formidable adversaries and astute diplomats. Historians have theorized that the Mitanni played a pivotal role in the balance of power during the Late Bronze Age, acting as a buffer state between the aggressive ambitions of Egypt and the Hittite kingdoms. This position allowed them to flourish, but it also made them vulnerable to the tides of war and diplomacy. As we explore further, we come across the fascinating evidence of the Mitanni's influence on the cultures around them. The introduction of horses and chariotry is often attributed to their innovations. What began as a necessity for warfare transformed into a symbol of status and power, rippling across the ancient world. The Mitanni not only mastered the art of chariot warfare, but also became revered horse breeders, setting standards that would resonate through the ages. Historians have posited that the Mitanni's expertise in equestrian practices influenced the military strategies of their contemporaries, including the Egyptians, who adopted these innovations into their own armies. But who were the Mitanni people? What made their culture distinct? One of the most intriguing revelations from modern research is the Mitanni's unique blend of influences. This society was a melting pot that drew from the rich tapestry of Mesopotamian, Hittite, and even Indo-Aryan elements. The Mitanni elite were known to have spoken an early form of the Indo-Aryan language, and many historians believe that this linguistic connection points to a migration or cultural exchange that shaped their identity. Inscriptions found in the region hint at the worship of deities that share names with those of the Vedic tradition, suggesting a deeper cultural intertwining that transcended geographical borders. As we peel back the layers of time, we also encounter the art and architecture of the Mitanni. Their palatial complexes, adorned with intricate bas-reliefs and vibrant frescoes, speak to a society that valued aesthetics as much as military prowess. The artistry reflects not just the skill of its creators, but also the values and beliefs of the Mitanni people. Scenes of hunting, feasting, and religious rituals are intricately woven into the fabric of their art, inviting us to glimpse the daily lives and spiritual lives of those who once walked these lands. The Mitanni legacy is not merely confined to their achievements in warfare and culture, it is also a testament to their resilience. Despite their eventual decline in the face of external pressures from the Assyrians and other rising powers, the Mitanni left a lasting impact on the regions they once dominated. The very name Mitanni evokes a sense of place and history, reminding us that even as empires rise and fall, their influence can echo through time. Modern historians have utilized a variety of methods to study the Mitanni legacy, ranging from archaeological excavations to linguistic analysis. They have sifted through ancient texts, piecing together narratives that tell the story of a civilization that, while not as widely known as its neighbors, was undeniably significant. The discovery of the so-called Mitanni letters, diplomatic correspondences between the Mitanni kings and their Egyptian counterparts, has provided invaluable insights into their political maneuvers and alliances. These letters reveal a world where diplomacy was as crucial as warfare, where relationships were forged and broken in the pursuit of power and stability. In the 21st century, the interest in the Mitanni has only intensified. New archaeological discoveries continue to surface, offering fresh perspectives on their life and times. Each artifact unearthed is a piece of a grand puzzle, inviting historians to piece together a narrative that has long been shrouded in mystery. As technology advances, so too does our understanding of this ancient civilization. Techniques like ground-penetrating radar and satellite imagery have opened new avenues for exploration, allowing researchers to identify potential sites that were previously overlooked. The Mitanni legacy is not merely a chapter in a dusty history book. It is a living testament to the complexities of human civilization. As we reflect on their story, we are reminded of the interconnectedness of cultures and the enduring impact that one civilization can have on another. The Mitanni may have faded from the pages of history, but their spirit endures, echoing through the corridors of time. In conclusion, the Mitanni legacy is a rich tapestry woven with threads of resilience, innovation, and cultural exchange. Historians today continue to explore and celebrate this remarkable civilization, breathing life into a story that deserves to be told. As we uncover more about the Mitanni, we not only learn about their past, but also gain insights into the human experience itself, a journey of triumphs and trials that transcends the boundaries of time and geography. Through their legacy, we are reminded that history is not merely a record of dates and events, but a living narrative that shapes our understanding of who we are and where we come from. In the end, the Mitanni may be a whisper in the annals of time, but their story resonates with us still, echoing through the ages, inviting us to listen, learn, and reflect. In the ever-turning wheel of history, symbols emerge like stars in the night sky, illuminating the paths of cultures and civilizations long gone. Among these symbols, few possess the enduring power of the chariot, an embodiment of ambition, conquest, and the relentless pursuit of glory. Today, we delve into the tale of the chariot, a vehicle that transcended its physical form to become a vessel of memory, identity, and legacy, echoing through the ages. Imagine a vast expanse of ancient land where the sun casts its golden rays upon a battlefield. The air is thick with anticipation, a blend of dust and determination. Here, warriors clad in armor, their hearts pounding with adrenaline, prepare to mount their chariots. Those magnificent wooden frames, adorned with intricate carvings and propelled by the raw strength of horses. These were not mere means of transportation. They were symbols of power, prestige, and the very essence of the human spirit. The chariot first emerged in the cradle of civilization in places like Mesopotamia, where the wheel, a simple yet revolutionary invention, met the ingenuity of human craftsmanship. The earliest records speak of chariots as tools of war, allowing rulers to dominate their enemies from a vantage point above the fray. As their wheels turned over the dirt and blood of ancient battlefields, they became synonymous with the rise of empires, from the Assyrians to the Egyptians, who revered them as divine vessels in the service of their gods. In Egypt, the pharaohs, adorned in gold and lapis lazuli, commanded vast armies from the comfort of their chariots. The chariot became a symbol of divine right, a reflection of the ruler's connection to the gods. Hieroglyphs depict these majestic vehicles racing across the sands of time, carrying not just warriors, but the very essence of a civilization's aspirations. The Egyptians believed that the sun god, Ra, traversed the sky in a chariot of fire, illuminating the world below. In this way, the chariot became interwoven with the fabric of their identity, a symbol of their journey through the afterlife where they would be judged by the weight of their deeds. As we move across the tapestry of time and geography, we find ourselves in the vast steppes of Central Asia, where nomadic tribes embrace the chariot not just as a tool of war, but as an emblem of their way of life. For these people, the chariot was a mobile home, a sanctuary on wheels, allowing them to traverse the expansive landscapes in search of sustenance and survival. The chariot's wheels rolled over grasslands and mountains, mirroring the nomad's unyielding spirit of exploration and resilience. With every turn of the wheel, the chariot echoed the stories of those who wielded it. In ancient China, it became a symbol of imperial power, a sign of status that defined social hierarchies. The Chinese chariot, often adorned with elaborate decorations, was not solely a vehicle for warfare. It also played a significant role in ceremonial processions, marking the importance of tradition and hierarchy within the culture. The chariot served as a reminder of the delicate balance between power and responsibility, a theme that resonates through the ages. But it was not just in warfare and conquest that the chariot found its place in the hearts of people. In the realm of mythology and art, it took on a life of its own. From the Greek god Apollo, who drove his chariot across the sky, to the majestic depictions of chariots in Roman mosaics, this symbol transformed into a representation of the divine and the heroic. It became a bridge between the mortal and the celestial, a reminder of the heights to which humanity could aspire. The Romans, who mastered the art of engineering and governance, utilized the chariot not only for war, but for sport. The Circus Maximus, a grand arena in ancient Rome, became the stage for chariot races that captivated crowds, drawing them into a fervor of excitement and rivalry. These races became a microcosm of Roman society, reflecting the values of ambition, competition, and glory. The chariot, once a tool of conquest, now celebrated the spirit of the people, transcending its original purpose to become a symbol of unity and exhilaration. Yet as the empires rose and fell, so too did the prominence of the chariot. The advent of new technologies and warfare strategies gradually rendered the chariot obsolete. But rather than fading into the shadows, it transformed, adapting to the changing tides of culture. The chariot found new life in art and literature, becoming a symbol of nostalgia for a bygone era, a romantic relic of glory and valor. In the modern world, the chariot endures, not as a physical vehicle, but as an emblem of memory and legacy. It serves as a reminder of our connection to the past, echoing the stories of those who came before us. The chariot has inspired countless works of art, literature, and cinema, becoming an integral part of our collective consciousness. It reminds us of the dreams and ambitions of ancient civilizations, the struggles and triumphs that shaped human history. As we trace the footsteps of the chariot through time, we realize that it is not merely the wheels that have survived, but the powerful narratives woven into its existence. The chariot stands as a testament to the human spirit, our desire to explore, to conquer, and to leave a mark upon the world. It is a symbol of memory, a reminder of our shared journey through the ages. In every culture, the chariot embodies unique stories, but its essence remains universal. The pursuit of greatness, the struggle against adversity, and the quest for immortality. As we continue to navigate the complexities of our modern lives, let us not forget the lessons etched in the wheels of history. The chariot, in all its glory, invites us to reflect on our own journeys, urging us to honor the memory of those who came before, while daring us to forge our paths into the future. And so, we are left with the enduring image of the chariot, a symbol that survived the ravages of time, a vessel of memory that continues to inspire and ignite the flames of ambition within our hearts. The wheels may have stopped turning for now, but the stories they carried, the dreams they fulfilled, and the legacies they forged will forever echo through the corridors of history, reminding us that we are all, in our own way, riders of chariots on the great journey of life.